Once rumored to walk amongst us on the earth, Titans. A story foretold by the Greeks at ancient times revealing a lust for ultimate power. Belligerent resistance, then hereby proclaimed by the Olympians as told in Hesiod's Theogony, made Zeus the ruler of the cosmos and Titans ultimately defeated. So stands the tale, intertwined. However, the story today is unwritten. Just like the Greeks of old, dawns a new age where the Titans once again will battle against the cosmos in order to etch their names into the chronicles of history. This newfound battle will be profound on Summoner's Rift. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final of Titans X Tots and Cosmos Wings. I'm Lamb, and I'll be joined by our very own Jack Kelly. Jack, welcome back for the final.
I'm ready. I'm so excited. I can remember just like it was yesterday. We had the play-in tournament, and now we are here at the finals of the very first season of SCL. I couldn't be more excited. Where would you rather be?
Exactly right. And both of these teams, it's a story. Cosmos Wings looking to just really grasp what they've been trying to get all season. Same could be said for everybody in the SCL this season, but Titans, monumental, colossal. They showed it in their last game 3-0 against Optimal Esports, a team which was proclaimed already victors in the SCL without actually playing this match. And going into this one, I can reveal to you that both captains are certainly confident of the win.
Yeah, I mean, I remember casting the Titan Tots play-in game, or not the actual play-in tournament I was referring to, but they had a win and get-in situation at the very end of the regular season, and Titan Tots was able to pull it out. No Turt showed off. GG No Rematch was, had games. Some struggles, but was able to carry so hard in other games, come up so huge. I mean, all these players are stars, whereas we have Cosmo Wings who have really come on at the right time during the playoffs, have won some really difficult series, going 5 games in the semifinals. So really going to be excited today, as I do believe we are heading into draft.
That time is approaching. We are in the first picks and bans. And by the way, who isn't enjoying these new overlays? I mean, our team has been working hard behind the scenes. Mia, Tony, of course, we shout out you guys for your efforts today. And this is a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come in season 2, but it's not season 2 yet. We have to get through this final as we pay attention to the bans. It's coming pretty quickly here, Jack. And obviously, both of these teams have had a lot of time to actually go through and see what champions are going to be a threat.
Yep, we see 5 jungle bands coming out. I count Mordekaiser as a jungler now, but the first pick, we are here for it. It's the cat. You can ban it, you can rework it, you can do whatever you want. Until you remove this champion, it is getting first picked every game. Yuumi has been such a disruptive champ ever since her debut, what it allows you to do. But to the dismay of many people, I will say it is very much a skilled champion in competitive play. In solo queue, you can just sit there, you can ride on a champion and not do anything. But in competitive play, it needs to be coordinated, it needs to be on the right target. You need to be applying those adaptive force stacks to the right teammate, and you can't just be going around willy-nilly. So that Yuumi pick comes out first, it immediately sets you up for any kind of engage comp you want, because you're going to have that final chapter on top of it. You're going to have that assistance, with the healing, moving around, going down to the very last second. They're debating this pick, or it's bugged, or it's bugged, and that's what we're going
Yeah,
to see coming out.
we got a bugged draft law, so it might be remade here unless they tell us who is the champion. Who's it gonna be? I mean, we can see a Viego on our stream. Okay, of
Oh,
course, there's gonna be bugs, but let's say we'll kind of carry on from here. We'll see what they want to do. We might have to refresh the draft for everybody, keep the same things going, or confirm picks. It's pretty easy from here. But I believe the word you were looking for, Jack, in terms of Yuumi, is broken. Right? I mean,
yeah.
the biggest skill gap with a Yuumi player, the arguments can be made that this champion is not mechanically inclined at all. You just press a button and actually press several buttons and then you call it good. But timing is everything. The final chapter, decision making, who are you actually going to go on? Who are you going to emphasize as that carry? That's kind of what we look at on 5-on-5 organized team fights. Now, the champion itself is absolutely disgusting. It's broken. It makes no sense to have this champion in the game, albeit that I've seen sneak peeks of reworked Yuumi coming through, which looks absolutely terrible. And it's one of those champions that is a pick or ban. You have to put respect on it. And right now, you can see why, because Cosmos are going to run it in game 1 for sure. And who do you pair that with, though? Who do you try and enhance in the AD carry role paired with Yumi?
I love seeing some really simple stuff. The Yumi Misfortune. Caitlyn was banned, so that takes it out, but you can still go Yumi Ash. There's safe lanes where your goal is just to get Yumi out of the lane. You want to get it out of the laning phase and make sure it can dominate them mid game. But if you want to go for that kill lane, if you want to do something aggressive, I've seen a lot of Callista be played with the Yumi, although it can be very difficult. I haven't seen much of Ham Bam. He's ranked pretty highly, but hasn't doesn't have too many games this season. So we are seeing some a little bit of skill disparity in some of these roles. But the Yumi, I would pair it with something very safe in lane, something you want to get it out of there and just let it dominate the mid game. We do see, I was gonna say Wukong. Wukong's banned. We see, I mean, it's left my screen now, but we do have a lot of junglers banned that you pair with Yumi typically. Stuff like Nocturne, stuff like Wukong, stuff like Udyr that you can just run in. But Hecarim, your favorite, is
Oh
available.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's the old boosted strategy, right? If you're going to carry a game, Hecarim Yumi is the pair to actually do it with. Now, Yumi, of course, in the early game takes a little bit to get online. We have remade the lobby, so these guys will get into it as quick as they can. I'm sure we don't want to be here for a while unless it's going to be a 3-0. But if it's a 3-0 in this one, I'm going to be very surprised, Jack. I am expecting fireworks from both of these teams. I'm expecting a lot of commitment in order for that not to happen. But we kind of go back to it. So we were talking about the bot lane. The bot lane's really been a story for Titans, probably more recently than anybody else. GG No Rematch stands out, of course. Mr. Shmee, again, we've mentioned this guy's name numerous times. His thresh play. Any champion that's got a hook, hard to engage, Mr. Shmee likes it, but he's also showed the other side of the coin. He likes the enchanters. He likes to play that slow and methodical game, but the roams always come through.
Yep. And him being able to affect the map constantly has been such a huge part of the winning game plan for Titan Tots. And it does look like that Viego is being hovered now. I'm not sure if it actually did get locked in, but we did see some of these these skirmishing junglers get picked up very, very often during the season. Now, I am trying to see. It looks like jungle during this patch and during this new season, jungle has been extremely important. If you see me looking off, I'm looking up some champion stats here. As the new rework Syndra comes in as well. These reworks, Riot, they're just. I remember years ago, Riot would come out and say, "Guys, we don't want to affect the game with our balancing. We don't want to affect the game." But every time they rework a champion, every time they adjust a champion, it's broken and Cinder's no exception.
I mean, it's one of those things that, of course, if we're not a Riot employee, we can't really comment on it because ultimately, who knows what goes in in that balancing department. But look, we have the refurbished draft law coming through again. Syndra is actually going to be locked in, so Control Mage opted in the mid lane for No Tur. Now, No Tur has been an individual that's come into the teams of Titans and really dictated how they can perform in the game, specifically in the early to mid game. Having that control mage jacket offers you so much control for your jungler, right on the north and the south of the river there, and you can make the roams happen. Now, Syndra is a champion that you can take advantage of, right? In the early game, if she misses that scout of the week, there's really no kill pressure. So, what would you pick into the Syndra here? Because obviously Cosmos, it looks like they're going to lock in the Ezreal, and now this is a champion we've seen them run before. But back to the mid lane, is Syndra very weak in the early game? I mean, they're going to equal it out a little bit, so Syndra should have priority over the Kassadin early on in the game. So that kind of answers the question. But what do you think of that matchup?
This is something that I was going to say. Something like Echo, Fizz, Cassidon, something that can just jump on the Syndra right away and make its life miserable. That's something, ironically, that No Turt is kind of famous for running. Is some of these, early game assassin mid laners that in most matchups, if this was Faker versus Showmaker, you would see the Cassidon get rolled every time in this matchup because he just has no gap close. He's melee. He's just going to get smashed. But in these lower elos where you have that kind of annoyingness to them, that ability to leap onto you at any given moment, you can't get them off of you, that really affects these players. And with the Epic Champion being one of the highest rated in this lobby, I would expect to see some of that skill being displayed. Now, should have brought up Ezreal with the Yumi earlier because that's, I think, probably the most famous all-time pairing is the Ezreal Yumi. The ability to just endlessly fire skill shots with the prowling projectile from Yumi and Ezreal's Q. That, I mean, it's just so much damage coming out constantly. And they did nerf. Actually, I don't even think it's part of the patch. I'm trying to see. I was under the impression that patch 13.1 had come out already, and it hasn't. So some things that Syndra is in a nerfed, quote unquote, nerfed state, but she is still extremely strong when she hits that mid game portion. The early game isn't all that affected. She's still pretty annoying early game, and like you said, picking Cassin is going to kind of play right into that uh, annoying early gameness where he can't really fight back. He can get those magic damage shields, but he can't do much other. As we see, even more junglers getting banned. Zach Vi joining the list, and Orin Renata coming in for other bans.
Well, Titans already. I mean, both teams are really revealing their hands this early on. We're not really seeing any of the flexing that usually occurs in the first three picks in the pick and ban phase. And one jungler that has stood out probably more than anybody is Turnips. So prolific in that 3-0 of Optimal Esports. Really, everything went through this man. Couldn't praise him enough. I mean, everything was on point, right place, right time. The macro calls we can reveal they actually come out of the jungle, so Turnip's well in charge of that, making sure that everybody's on the same page. And the Viego was locked in for him. So to take something into the Viego, you want something that could potentially skirmish him early, right? Make him think twice about trying to get into the team fights and trying to get those resets off. Because once this champion pops off, it's incredibly hard to stop it.
Yeah, it's so difficult with those resets during team fights. So especially with the Lulu coming through, the ability to give him those the picks buffs, give him that extra speed, the attack speed, the shields, the wild growth, all that extra HP. I mean, it's going to be incredibly beneficial to Viego in these team fights. And I really think they have to pick something to skirmish against it. And one of the picks I have seen, I think probably a champion that is, if we had to go all the way back and look at every game played in the SCL, I would venture to guess the most played champion is Graves. We've seen so many Graves throughout this tournament, throughout this season. This champion is very good in these skirmishes with that smoke screen. He can put out so much just annoying damage while he dashes all around you. And paired up with the Maokai, he's able to get on top of you very easily with this lockdown. Now they do need some damage. They have a lot of burst with Kassadin. They have poke with Ezreal, but they do not have any consistent damage. So they're going to need that out of the jungle. So we could even see them run a Tim special, go for the Kindred, and try and get
Oh,
some DPS on this team. Other than that, uh, we could also see Lilia come in. It might be a little heavy on the magic damage side, but you need DPS, and Lilia is going to provide some of that. Or they could make me look like a fool and flex the
yeah,
Maokai
they've
into the jungle, and now
flexed that.
they've got Aatrox who you can't get off of you because Maokai ult comes down. And how are you going to get the Aatrox off of your Sivir or your
Okay.
Syndra?
So what we're kind of seeing here, we've seen this several more times before. Cosmos, okay, what's their win condition? Get to mid to late, right? They have full priority with the Aatrox in that top lane, depending on what Titans can take here. Of course, they're still awaiting to pick their top laner, unless it's a crazy flex of Viego up there or something like that. I very much doubt it, but they're on the clock right now, 25 seconds until they can reveal who it's going to be. But the Cosmos team composition here, it worries me a little bit, Jack. And I mean, going into a machine like Titan, I mean, they do have the Sivir. Sivir will have priority over the Ezreal, can farm the wave so much quicker. And of course, if you got the Lulu with that as well, it means you get a 2-for-1. The interaction, I believe the polymorph does get Yumi off of the Ezreal. Oh wow! If we see Casanti here, I mean, it's not revealing very much, but we did see this champion once before in the optimal esports ranks as they ran it in that 3-0 defeat to Titans, and it didn't really opt that well. But the one thing we can say about Casanti is very hard to kill. It's a big problem in a team fight. If you don't know what this champion does, now is the time to go learn about it before you get into the game. But I want to come back to Cosmos team composition here. Okay, they got the cast in the Ezreal. Both of those champions want to get to at least level 6. You know, you could argue that for Ezreal, it's usually level 11. And if you can get a lead off of that too, then great. You can try and snowball, try and get there a little bit quicker. And especially that first item is going to be also important. But how do they win this game? Because right now they're looking at dealing with a Viego against a Makai in the jungle with the laners that the Titans have. It's full reign for the Viego. He can go wherever he wants. He can do whatever he pleases. And then will he be punished? I don't know if he will.
Yeah, they're going to need to do this through intelligent vision control and through a lot of good engages. They need to pick their own fights. They cannot get engaged on if, Lulu pixies Sivir and Sivir hits that R button and they all just start running at you and you don't have a chance to set up and have Maokai, setting up with his ultimate, those vines, or Kassadin coming from a flank to just blow up one of these carries in 1 second, you're going to have a hard time fighting. Now, the thing about Cassante, I want to bring up because luckily, like you said, it's already been seen. But if you don't know much about this champion, in higher elos, from what I've seen, like the Shy do with Cassante, he looks like this unbelievable tank Yasuo, where he's just constantly peppering you with skill shots and he's constantly moving and you just can't ever lock him down to kill him. But when I see him in these lower elos, I struggle to see that version of him. What you need to see from Cassante in these ranks, in these lower, platinum elos, you need to see him coming out and just being pretty much a target. You need to see him soaking up that damage, looking to move towards these carries, not so much to CC them or take them out, but just to be able to take their attention. His ultimate is very disruptive because it can, obviously it takes someone and moves them way out of the fight, but it can also fail miserably and lead to very little. So he's a very high skilled champion, and I'm excited to see what Ask is able to do with him.
Well, the one thing I do want to say is a spotlight for both of these teams is in that top lane. Elsa from Frozen arguably has been the best top laner in the SCL this season, hence why Cosmos are in the final. The performances individually, skill orientated, macro, shot calling, survivability, got it all. The whole package in that top lane. So the fact that Titans are going to take Cassante up there and say, ask, hey, try your best. If you can keep that Aatrox from playing, we won't see Aatrox things happening. But the one thing we have to really reiterate that if Titans is to take this game, you have to stop Elsa from Frozen playing the game. You must stop that person playing the game because on a champion like Aatrox, just there's so many options for that win condition. And if you're looking on the side of Cosmos here, if you're trying to target anybody, you're going to get on top of that Sivir, right? I mean, the spell shield, like somebody already said, will help out for a certain amount of time. You might want to see the cleanse come through on that Sivir as well, potentially. There could be an argument made that the Morgana might have made a lot more sense than the Lulu, but that Lulu is a defense against the casting, right? If you try and get the resets going on top of the Sivir, you get polymorphed, potentially picked off. The resets can happen for Viego and, of course, Syndra with the Unleashed Power single target deletion. So there's so many things that we can talk about actually in this draft, Jack, but we are going to get a prediction going as everybody else has got their predictions in it, hopefully. And I mean, somebody will be cashing all the way to the bank today, but this is only going to be the first game. Best of five. I'm going to get a prediction from you based on what you see here right now. Who's going to take game one?
I am going to put my confidence in what I have seen, and what I have seen is Titan Tots take down every giant the SEL has had to offer, and they are here in the finals. Cosmos has yet to lose a series this entire tournament, and I think that streak may end today. I'm going to go with Titans for this first game.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. I'll go for Cosmos. And we're going to cut to a small break. But just a reminder, guys, at the end of the stream, there is a giveaway. So you want to stay tuned for that. There's several people that's been entered into it. And if you are, you might be the lucky one that comes away with 1350 RP by the end of this. So you want to stay tuned for that. That's going to be exciting. But that's a long way away because once we come back, we're going to get into game one. The best of five. It's the SCL Season 1 finals between Titans and Tots. Cosmos Wings right after this. Will Mount Olympus be too tall of an ask for the Titans? The Olympians came out on top then, but this is Summoner's Rift. This is a different Coliseum, different state of mind here, Jack. And both of these teams, it's a monumental task. And what an occasion for Season 1 in the SCL.
I'm seeing a lot of good stuff come out already. I see double exhaust bot lane. They understand these carries are going to be so obnoxious. I see double engage summoners top lane, or at least no flash, having that extra option, going for the ghost instead just to be extra obnoxious. You see multiple teleports coming out. Everything I'm seeing so far from Cosmo Wings screams just we are trying to be the pro team. We are to play these difficult to execute late game comps, and we are going to beat you just with better macro and execution. So I've got to see that come out though. It has to be, you can't just, talk that talk. You have to show it. You have to come out in these games with intelligent decision making between the first, 10 minutes. You need to go for intelligent team fights. You cannot be taking random fights that don't matter. And you need to really just show excellence in the little things, CSing and, wave manipulation, all those things that, people don't really recognize, but you have to do them well to win these games.
Well, the one thing that Titans can't allow to happen here is to let a late game champions actually reach that point and don't accelerate them, because then it's just the win condition's gone. And you can certainly see that with Caston. See multiple times Caston holding the only pentakill of the season. Need I remind everybody that McNutt, if you're out there, shout out to you, my friend, although you didn't make it. Oh, Mr. Shmee. Got about 25% health there. Thinking about twice. Only level 1 already. Fully expecting here, Jack, for both of these teams just to kind of find their feet. Not go too deep, not risk a lot. But that can change really quickly. If you make mistakes or if you get caught out, then you get desperate. Then you don't want to let the rest of the team down. The amount of pressure that is on these guys in this game makes it very difficult to try and orientate those micro decisions.
Yeah, and especially when you see a league like this, these are not coordinated pros who've been playing in a team facility for months and months on end. These are amateur players who are just giving it their all. And you like you said, you're gonna see them try and make plays, try and look good for the stream. We've got over 50 people watching. They want to be the reason their team wins, and I think that is going to be Downs, not played into as much just because of the experience, as we do see a gank coming in. This is gonna be really dangerous for Ass. He's got to get out of here.
Yeah, also from Frozen tags him up with a Darkane Blade, but they might try and get something out of Ask here. Federal Chain's not going to bring him back, and he will walk that one out. Just successful gank already coming through from the Marca. You can see that focus on the top lane.
Yeah, and I was going to say it in draft, but I didn't have time. That's where you want all of to Splash's focus to be, is in this top lane, because Kassadin's never going to help you with a gank ever. Ezreal, Yuumi can poke, but they can't actually engage on anyone. So you need to go on that Ezreal. As we see him jumping in the bot lane, double exhausts are out.
Fully committing onto the Sivir, no mana, gets the flash out of the AD carry of Titans. Flash forward again, good block by Mr. Shmee from that Mystic shot. Oh, he tanks the turret shot. Here comes Turnips. Oh, Spectral Moy gets the reset. Ezreal gonna fall, first blood over to the jungler. He might get 2 here. Mystic shot, Arcane Shift forward. He does it better. Turnips, 2-0.
The team kill, Ham Bam gives over the double kill. Obviously, the Viego now wearing the cat. I mean, just unbelievable patience and resolve from Gigi No Re and Mr. Shmee. I know the jungler is going to get all the credit. The Viego got the kills, but just what patience. The Lulu shields coming out at the perfect timing, holding that turret aggro. I mean, just running circles around Ham Bam and Venoms. Got me slurring my words. That was so impressive. As the Splash is going to come into that mid lane. Syndra has no mana, but she'll just walk that out. I mean, this game has been accelerated already. What we said cannot happen has happened. The Sivir has a call to longswords. The Viego is making his way towards his mystic item. I mean, just an absolute horror show for that first little skirmish we see there from Cosmo Wings.
let's highlight what actually just happened in that mid lane. So the gank came in from the Maokai, trying to chunk out no turret, maybe force the back from the Syndra. Has to go back right now because of the mana issue right there, but they have full control. And what ends up happening, he sends T-Splash back and still wins the trade with the Pied Champion. So in that mid lane, you can see already the fine margins that are in this game between both of the junglers. T-Splash goes up top, doesn't even get the ghost out of Ask. The patience on that man to hold on to that. And then you see on the opposite side of the map, making things happen is Turnips. Fine margins, and they are making it work. And now he's going to collect that first dragon of the game.
Speaking of making it work, Mr. Shmee says, I don't care if you put me on Lulu, I don't care if you put me on Yumi, I'm finding a way to roam. Goes mid and stops that back from Kassadin. Just will not stop being a nuisance on the map. He is now in the river. But I do want to say, some of the chat, was wondering, the jungler is there. That's the reason that play gets turned around. But at that time, you know that Viego started on the bottom side of the map because or started on the top side, excuse me. So when you see that, he's going to, when he does his bot camps. So when he does his bot camps, when they're going to respawn. I mean, these are things that you think of at, a pro level. But it's the little things in a small tournament. If they had known, hey, the enemy jungler is going to be bot side, we probably shouldn't go for this. We're going to make a game here, but
Ask is in trouble here. Elsa from Frozen gets a world ender. Level 6 comes through. That's a solo kill in that top lane.
That is Elsa from Frozen. You are not seeing this for the first time if you are a recent viewer watching in that semifinals. Hambam going extremely low. Yumi is going to get this save there. Yeah, Yumi exists. But Elsa from Frozen, this whole Cosmo Wings lineup has been kind of, for at least some of the fans, been a sleeper because we didn't do many of their games during the regular season. They just kind of silently went 4-0 in what ended up being a pretty good division in the SCL. They won both of their playoff games, and just no one was really talking about it. But like you said, Elsa has turned out to be one of the best top laners, and we've had a lot of very good top laners. Pada, Ballers, Juggernaut. We've seen a lot of good ones up there. But now Ask, not hesitating, has a level disadvantage and still walking forward. But you see how much, or how little, I should say, damage Cassante does. And just answering back as Aatrox with these huge damage.
What a colossal fight.
Just Cassante just doesn't do damage, and that is why this champion is so difficult to maneuver in these lower elos. You have to recognize that this champion is flashy, but it's still a tank. As you see that Kassadin interaction, the reason you still can pick this into Syndra, if you time it right, if you buffer that ultimate right, Kassadin can ignore the Scatter the Weak and still get on top of Syndra. So you just need to make sure that timing is right, and he'll be able to execute that pretty well.
All right, so, I mean, hold on to your hats. We're only 8 minutes into this game, and already it feels like it's on a knife edge. It feels like whoever loses this game is going to be at a severe disadvantage going forward in this series because so much is at stake. But you can see that the Herald's going to be started up here by T-Splash, backed up by Elsa from Frozen. But Viego, Syndra, they're in the vicinity. Okay, ultimate already goes out from Maokai, and Turnip still wants it. I believe he got the smite off. Yeah, he did, but he might go down for that commitment for the Herald. They pick off T-Splash, and who else but Turnip's third kill of the game.
I really don't think that's worth it. You're not going to get much value out of the Rift Herald unless you go and drop it top lane immediately, but Cassante can push those waves so quickly, and giving over another 300 gold, all that experience, to the side of Titan Tots, I really don't like that play at all. The only good thing about it is that the bot lane stayed bot and is still getting that experience. Aatrox going to collect a large wave here top side. I'm going to flip over. I want to see the difference. Almost, yeah, we're seeing nearly a 1k gold lead in the difference for these junglers. Is Ask, if he doesn't get out of this thing, yeah, I would say if he doesn't get out of that, he's dead. I mean, going the serrated Dirk, we're seeing the Eclipse out of Aatrox going to come through. Bad timing here.
Scatter the Weak lands the Pied Champion. Rift walks out there. T-Splash waiting in the wings in case the mid laner needs the help. And you can see already the comfortability that No Turret has. This individual has had such an impact on this team. Could be said that the catalyst for the end of the run towards the end of the season here is because of this man and what he can offer to the team. Most certainly is a talking point anytime he goes into that mid lane. But we're approaching 10 minutes into the game, and Titans, they have that gold lead. They're not wanting to throw that away. 1,400 gold to the goods here, Jack, and they're pinging out. Look how many wards are up there to keep an eye on Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah, they don't want him getting any extra attention. They know that he can win a skirmish, a 1v1 all by himself, so they don't want it to turn into a 2v1. They want just Cassandra to keep going up here. He's got his Aegis. He just wants to build up those tank items, become as much of a nuisance as possible, and just collect this lead. And not only do they have the gold lead, they have the scaling advantage. They have the Sivir, they have the Syndra. Viego scales incredibly well into these team fights, just the amount of, you know, Viego scales essentially as well as the enemy team scales, because you can always take one of those champions and, you know, take them over to Splash. Is going to use his ultimate just to try and get out. Takes out the Syndra, but gets scattered the weeks.
Flash might be in trouble here. Twisted advances, but he's on the wrong side of that lane, means he gets picked off. Gonna see a fight in the bottom. Final chapter actually went wide. Shushop Raj actually connects on GG no rematch. Flash forward, Mystic Shot gonna go wide of that one, and GG no rematch will get the kill, and it looks like it's gonna be a double for the AD carry of Titans. It just goes oh so wrong in that bot lane for Cosmos.
I mean, just horrific stuff going on. No turn is going to
baby,
die.
Elsa from Frozen wants it. Oh, no turn in the dirt.
Get on my back, Cosmo Wings, is what Elsa is thinking right now. I'm going to drag you, legs and arms, over the finish line if I have to. But Cassandra is picking up these top laners. To Splash looks like he's in Britain driving on the wrong side of the road. Just doesn't know where he's going. Flashes over the wall. I don't know what he's... And then he immediately... For the viewers at home, they don't know. But he immediately typed mid-diff after taking that L in the mid lane. But you see Elsa from Frozen is just doing everything possible to hold this game together. The bot lane was so unfortunate. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Ham Bam and Venoms thought that they had that kill down. They put down everything. Maybe if they had Ignite instead of double exhaust, that's a kill, but you know, these what ifs are gonna kill them if they don't get over them in this 5-game series. But GG no rematch, just showing that poise, just being able to sit in that fight, know that he's not going to die, take that damage, and just keep pushing out these lanes. If you've watched me cast SCL this season, you know I love talking about pushing bots, and the pushing bot is showing, and now they're able to go on to Ham Bam and do a ton of damage, and they'll get the push. That gives them the XP advantage, it gives them dragon priority, it gives them everything.
Mr. Smee, very relentless on the damaging charts for a support player. We've seen that many a time, soloing people. Forget the champion, it might have been Lulu actually running it back here. But GG no rematch on the hunt going to be popped, and the mana not quite there to follow up because they are underneath that turret. So Ham Bam is going to feel good about that one. The game state, okay, they're going to collapse on the Elsa from Frozen. Goes across the wall with the Umbral Dash. Okay, Nature's Grass going to come through from the Makai. Elsa from Frozen actually gets the kill onto Cassandra. Backed up by the jungler, they say, get the hell off my top laner. They're going to chase Turnips out of there as well. Whoa! Flash forward from the Pi champion. Rift Walk, enough damage. Chasing him down, he will get out of there as he gets a world end out of Elsa from Frozen, but you can see how much they need to protect this solo carry.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous there at the end from the Epic Champion, but overall you see so much focus coming around this top lane, and Elsa from Frozen plays that perfectly, as Ham Bam is going to have to retreat. The final chapter is going to come out, but not much going to come. I understand this is lower elo. They're looking at this Lulu and saying, oh, she's so low HP, we have to go get her, but you just can't, as Syndra is now hunting.
God, no turret, can he land the Scar of the Week? Oh, yes, he does. Arcane Shift, but no more mana means that's going to be a kill again on no turret. Yumi will get out of it, but can't say the same for Ham Bam as they make it happen again. These macro plays, we highlighted them before, and they're paying dividends in this game.
Yeah, I mean, just the intellect there from No Turt to come down to that bottom lane. See, they're staying way too long. I have to come down this to kill.
High champion in trouble. Whoa, darn it! Styling.
Put him mid lane, put him jungle, put him wherever he wants. He's in all chat. He's typing. This guy is flexing so hard right now, and his team is just on a roll. They had that, you know, win and get in game, and they were able to win the last game of the regular season, and now, I mean, they're just rolling off that momentum, and they are here in the finals playing their best League of Legends at the best time. I will turn your attention quickly to the items. You know, I don't want to be picky, but your Lulu, you have speed ups. You don't need Shirelia's Reverie. The item's kind of bad. You should just get Moonstone. It's not gonna make too big of a difference seeing as everyone on the team's fed, so it doesn't really matter. But as you do see Scatter the Weak come out, is going to get rooted up, and Elsa is here. Elsa is dead.
Yeah, Elsa is here, so no turret.
Oh!
Somehow survives the wild growth comes through. Keep him alive. They're going to collapse on Elsa from Frozen. Gets deleted with the unleashed power from the Syndra. They're turning. Oh, Cosmos being scattered to the wings of the galaxy by Titans.
Okay, I gotta get this picture in your head. It's the Spider-Man meme where all the Spider-Mans are pointing at each other, but it's like, who's supposed to get this kill? And they're all pointing at each other, but none of them are actually doing anything. So they all wanted to give the kill to someone else, and none of them ended up killing him. And now he lives. He turns it. The ultimate comes out from Syndra, the kill button, the R, and it just destroys Elsa, and everything is falling to the ground. Nearly a 10k gold lead, and just they've got to get on the same page. They have to just, obviously I'm not saying a literal pause, that would be against the rules, but they need to just take a step back and say, guys, what the hell are we doing? We need to just pick our fights. It's like I said, they can't go into these fights on no Titan Tots' terms. They have to pick their fights very specifically. Otherwise, they're just going to get beat front to back, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Well, that third dragon going to be started up. I mean, it's just going so quickly. 2 dragons already on the side of Titans here as they look to collapse on that third consecutive one. It is going to be an Infernal Soul, and on that team, it's going to prove pretty hard to deal with. Hambam, Arcane Shifts across the wall. The chickens are actually killing them. Teleport coming in. They want to try and stop this. Elsa from Frozen's here. Infernal Chains. Okay, Nature's Gas going to come out. All the ultimates already being used preemptively. Turnips, the whole team's going to collapse onto Elsa. The main threat, Aatrox, waiting in the wings. 5 champion waiting in the brush. Dragon, 2,500. Final chapter going to go down as well. Gets knocked back, and that's going to be slain by Viego. So they do collect the third consecutive one. That's going to be worst kill. One of the casting. Elsa will trade back. Sivir. Ricochets happening. Turnips, Wild Growth on him. T-Splash going low. Double kill for the Sivir. GG, no rematch. Still looking for more. Elsa has Yumi, gets polymorphed. That's exactly what we're talking about. This triple, that's the quadra kill coming through from the Imperious AD carry of Titans.
It doesn't matter if you attack the Cassante, because Sivir is letting off these rounds into your skull. I know they're boomerangs, but just let me play with the metaphor. I mean, just unbelievable. Turnips dancing with those resets in the backline, using his ultimate to just go from target to target, using it as a dash, just making them look foolish. And all the while, GG No Rematch is just unloading these boomerangs, the champion having to retreat now. And the fight looked okay. Cassante kind of got his ankles broke. He used that all out, didn't get anything out of it. It's like I said, this champion is very, very, very high skill. So when you use that all out, you've got to use it to disrupt someone. He didn't really use it for anything. And immediately it's a 4v5, and you're thinking, oh god, you know, Elsa is just going to reign over this fight, 4v5. But they're able to protect this now 7-0-4 Sivir, who has 2 completed items, and they just are able to sit back, protect the Sivir. Lulu shields up, use that wild growth, and just keeps everyone calm. Like I said, they're just calm. They're just playing the game safe and sound and just trying not to go for anything flashy. You know, Cassante is just there to die anyway, so it doesn't matter if he goes down. And I keep getting my focus broken by these alt chat messages. Turnips is flexing right now.
I'll tell you this, Turnips is enjoying the occasion. He's living rent-free right now. And why the hell not? 5-0 on the Viego hasn't looked a step out of place. And this game has been accelerated so quickly. I mean, we're talking probably maybe 5-6 minutes ago how we're so early on in the game. And it's still within reach for Cosmos here, but it seems just insurmountable right now as T-Splash contesting the blue buff does actually get the smite through. So that's a dub in his own jungle. But, I mean, it's just so hard to actually keep up with him. And we're 30 seconds away here, Jack, from the Baron spawning.
Yeah, and it feels like this game's already been going on for like 20 minutes, 40 minutes even, because of just how far ahead they are. But it's that team fight went about as well as Cosmo Wings can hope for. You know, they got the early kill onto Cassante. Aatrox had the Yumi on him, but they just don't have enough damage as Elsa is taking so much.
Elsa's in trouble here. T-Splash doesn't get the ultimate off on time. True Shot Barrage lands, but there's no damage coming out here. Turnips looking for the resets, turns into Aatrox himself, dives back over the wall. Hambam goes low, gets deleted. Opposing AD carry again, 8th kill of the game for GG No Rematch.
And Caston's not even there, has that Rod of Ages halfway stacked up, but he's not even there. He's getting 1v1 by a tank. The tank doing that. He walks back up trying to get this fight. You're never going to win that. And he's got the footwork to chase you down. Pops that ghost, but he is going to get away with those rift walks. He's star walking away. Is it too late? Can I still make those jokes?
I think it's
over.
I think it's acceptable.
All
I
right.
think it's acceptable. What's not acceptable is this gold lead, Jack. 12,000 gold. Need I remind everybody that every game in the optimal series between Titans was a 10,000 minimum gold lead at the end of the game, and it grew even more towards the end as they gathered the momentum, and already it looks like they're off to the races. I mean, it just is so impressive from this team how quickly they can take over the game.
Yeah, and I don't want to... I'm sorry, Turnips is just unloading in these alt chats. But there's a common saying in traditional sports if you watch American football. I'll say American football because the World Cup just happened and it was very popular, so I won't just call it football. But there's a saying, you want to play your best football in December and January. That's when the playoffs turn on. That's when everything starts to be meaningful. Every game counts or you're out. Titan Tots is playing their best League of Legends right in the playoffs, in the finals, right when they need to. Elsa's getting caught out a little bit, but has that Yumi. Never in the final chapter. This is going to be huge, but he's going to fall down so far.
Get out of the way, Turnips. That's the name you need to remember. He is proven to be built different in this one. The Pi champion goes down on the back of that. Axe goes across the wall. The whole squad is here looking for T-Splash. But look at the teleport. No, Tur wants to get those objectives down. They want to end the game right here, right now. Second ace of the game goes over to Titans.
Yeah, I mean, that is just... It looks like exactly what they want. Elsa has the great setup, the three-man final chapter. Ham Bam hits an ultimate on almost their entire team. It does so little damage, though. He's so far behind, sitting on only an Essence Reaver and a fully stacked tier. He's 0-6-0. I think that is going to be game one of these finals, unless Ezra can do something miraculous.
No, Ham Bam goes in vain. But that's a game that you have to say is just a reset for Cosmos, right? We throw that one away. We say, hey, look, we didn't get off to the start, the draft that we really wanted to. And Titans, I mean, they didn't look a step out of place. You could have thought that they played that semi-final matchup just before this game. They look exactly the same, if not better. And if that is the case, it makes me worrisome for the series in Cosmos. But they showed glimpses in that one. Jag, Elsa from Frozen had the solo kill onto the top laner. But ultimately, as it's been a trend for Titans, that top lane just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You're just picking something that can just play into the Aatrox in lane, essentially. That's what that matchup is. But the rest of the team, I mean, if you remove Cassante from the situation, one death on the whole squad. And that was the Syndra. I don't even remember when they were so dominant. But able to just, I mean, there were so many mistakes. I don't want to take anything away from Titans. They definitely won this game with their poise, with their presence. They just did everything right, all the little things. But there were so many mistakes that Cosmo Wings made, even just that, like, that funny meme moment where no one kills the Syndra.
You,
it's like,
me,
you gotta
to him,
do
to me.
You got to do the little
Just
things,
gonna take it.
and sometimes the little things are huge. Sometimes the little things are like get the kill, and when you can't execute on that, it definitely means that something bigger is going on. They're tilted, something's not right. So going into game two, they've got to just, like you said, just scrub that, just completely move on. All right, clean slate. It's, we got to win 3 games. The objective hasn't changed. You have to win 3 games to League of Legends, and that doesn't change going down 0-1. So that's what they have to focus on right now.
And like Jack says, the little things, they always matter. So if that applies to anybody, then you know what? They matter. You still matter, baby, and we got you. But the SCL's got you. Again, there's a giveaway at the end of the stream. You want to tune in for that? We will give you the announcement close to that after all the interviews and all that jazz. But we're going to cut to a small break, and when we come back, we'll be in the draft phase for game 2 between Titans and Cosmos. All right, welcome back, everyone. Um, we're getting ready to go into game two here, and things have to change, Jack. Right? It just looked so difficult for Cosmos in that game. Once that snowball started going, where did it end? And ultimately ended at 22, 23 minutes with a very convincing win. I believe it was 22. Maybe it happened too quickly that didn't actually keep up with the time. But if you're Titans, you don't change anything, right? You make Cosmos think about what they want to ban away. And then you go from there. But for Cosmos, they have to hit that reset button. The Aatrox worked very well, but the Maokai, you have to go for an aggressive jungler. You have to try and match up with turnips because ultimately, like everything just went through that, man.
Yep, and I expect to see the exact same bans. I think both teams are fully aware that that game could easily, if you're being optimistic, could just be chalked up to a fluke. We do see an adjustment, no more Viego, so that means that the Caitlyn is available for first picking. I would honestly give over the Yumi. If you want to put Mr. Shmi on something that is so for him compared, I know I just said how Yumi can be high skilled, but if you want to put anyone on Yumi, it's probably Mr. Shmi. It's going to limit his ability to affect the game, but that Caitlyn's way more important. Having that, here I go again, having that pushing bot lane, getting that dragon priority that affects the jungle, that affect.
Oh. That is interesting. Yeah, that's what I was kind of afraid of is if you first pick the Lux, which is pretty strange in my opinion. Usually the Caitlyn takes way more priority because Lux Caitlyn is that kill lane, kill pushing lane that you can get all too often. But the Cosmos might have thought if we take away the Lux here, then they won't pick the Caitlyn, but you still got Morgana. That's usually the other one that you go to if that other one is banned away. So we'll kind of see how this transpires here, but that Lux, of course, can be flexed to the mid lane. Is a range champion, just trying to keep safe, not really go toe to toe with the Syndra. But Caitlyn going to be locked in the Syndra, and Cosmos opting to stay on the blue side here as well. That Titans are just basically running the back, and now they've taken away the only AD carry that pairs very well with the Lux.
Yeah, my brain kind of just stopped when that Lux got locked in. That's like it's like doing the Lucian Nami, picking the Nami first. It makes me feel like if you've ever seen those Twitch rivals, like it's a team of like former LCS pros, and then there's like a silver female streamer, and she's like, "Guys, you gotta pick me Lux. I just it's what I play." That's what this made me feel like. I don't understand why you would ever pick the Lux first. You need the Caitlyn is what's strong with it. Varus coming out. I mean, okay, let's turn this on its head. Let's be optimistic for Cosmos during the World Finals, the peak of competition in the League of Legends. Varus was the highest priority AD carry. He was picked in every single game. He was always, I believe, I don't actually know if this is true, so take this with a grain of salt. I believe he was always the first AD carry picked. I think there might have been one game it was Caitlyn before him during the end of the series. But Severus is also very high priority. He's flexible with his build. He can go lethality, he can go crit, he can go attack speed. Paired up with that Lux, he has a ton of poke damage and a ton of consistent, you know, slows and bindings and piercing arrows and all of these things coming out with this duo. But you see the Zac come out. Zac with new tank items is so good. I even like Zac solo lane with these new tank items. He can be very oppressive in top lane, but I so far this draft kind of looks like a run back to me from Cosmos, and I would like to see more change. As the champion I mentioned last game being so prevalent, the Graves comes in for turnips. I can't see turnips not running over the game with this Graves.
I'm kind of bewildered. And now I know that Zach was banned away in the second phase of last game. So
Mhm.
maybe it's something that Cosmos have been playing around. And Zach, like you already mentioned, pairs very well with the new tank items that are into the game. Varys, I like how you touched on the point that it was very prioritized by multiple teams across multiple regions because it is a champion that gets to a certain point where you're one shot on people from afar. The Chains of Corruption AoE is so good against team compositions that want to get in close and kill you. That means the Graves. That kind of means the Caitlyn, albeit that she will come from a range. And then Syndra has to walk up a little bit closer in order to actually get her ultimate onto you as well. So the virus can be very key here. I've still got questions about the Lux. I could be completely wrong with that. I don't want to see it go into the support. And then again, I don't want to see it go into the mid because if Syndra connects onto you, and Graves is there, you're just dead, right? If you don't use that flash, you're just dead. There's no outplay. You can't get away from it. The cleanse doesn't work on it. I mean, it might work after you've been stunned, but Lux opts to usually go for the barrier, something defensively. You know, the exhaust can even come through there as well. But if you're a good Lux player, now we're going back to solo queue, the solo queue mind here, Jack, that Lux is a champion. If you're very good at her, it can look really good for your team.
Yeah, it's so oppressive. The Lux E just seems like it has an infinite range. She just beats you down during the laning phase. But if you get to a more competitive stage, it costs mana. You need to be positioned correctly. You need to kind of be her binding doesn't have the longest range, and I do want to say for them to ban Renata with their first ban in the second phase, I would have just picked Renata. Renata Varus is an extremely powerful
Hmm.
combo. It is so oppressive in that laning, and it's like you said, these champions that like Graves, even Syndra is kind of low range with that ultimate. Needs to come into your team to do that damage. Renata is so good against low range. That ultimate, that hostile takeover comes down and just wipes away your chances of winning a team fight if you're a melee comp or a low range comp. But we are seeing some more pointed top lane bans. I really hope they pick this because
I thought this was coming. I
last
sorry to
game,
interrupt you, dude, but
it's fine.
I thought if they don't take away that Morgana, it's going to be locked in. It's just as good as the Lux. It offers a little bit more with the Black Shield coming through as well. And yeah, yeah.
I saw it last game when they picked like Maokai, Kassadin. I know Lulu is good at the Kassadin because of the polymorph, but the I don't know what Morgana's shield is called. Her magic shield is so strong against any magic damage dealers. Everyone thinks of the immunity to CC first, but it is still just a magic damage shield, so it applies similar benefits to a polymorph. But it would have disqualified Maokai from doing any real like having any of real effect on any of these fights. And the Morgana coming through now is going to be so good into this Zac. How does Zac find a way to do anything if he doesn't get
Oh,
damage down? They're picking less damage again. They're doubling down on the CC of this comp. They want the Galio, they want the hard engage. Zac, does his little jump into the team. Galio follows up. Please pick Camille, and because Camille's at Galio is so good, and Elsa can flex so hard on the champion. It is very good. I don't know if he plays it though.
well, here's where I'm at so far with these compositions. So this is a complete switch around from Cosmos. They are, like you said, they are all or nothing on the Varus basket right now. Everything in on the Varus to make sure Varus can play the game. Zach to lock them up. Set.
He
Uh,
plays Camille. He does
I
play
mean,
Camille.
I mean, the set doesn't really factor in here a lot. I mean, maybe for the solo potential in the top lane, but I don't know how I feel about that. I like the Galio because it basically means that when Zach goes in, you're going to get immediate follow up. But the Morgana there, Soul Shackles is going to be a thing in close range combat. The Graves with a full stack passive is going to be a thing. There's a lot of answers to this composition that they're trying to draft here, and with everything being seen here, it obviously means that the Lux is gonna go to the support. And if that's the case, then Syndra against Galio, very heavily Syndra orientated in terms of control in that mid lane, which is the catalyst to why they won the last game. So that win condition hasn't been addressed yet. Cosmos are basically saying, well, we know that you beat us in the last game. We know that you had full control over the whole map here, but we're going for if we get that 5-on-5, then great. But if we don't, where do we turn to? You have to turn to the lane. And if the Varus can't get ahead here, it definitely looked like a little bit of a gap in the bot lane. And now Alawi's going to come into it. So now you've got multiple answers to the Zac Galio engage. You jump in with the Zac, you jump in with the Galio. Alawi hits R. The Morgana hits R, and while you're in stasis, the Alawi is just absolutely destroying you percentage of health wise on both champions that like to stack it.
Yeah, the only way Galio can win this lane is if he goes full damage. Galio goes for like Hextech Proto Belt, electrocuting his runes. In that way, he can win this lane. I'm a silver player, and I've won lanes as Galio into Syndra. It is difficult though, but Cosmos needs a lot to go right. They have no real damage, especially with Lux going into the support role. Varus has to go a DPS build. He cannot go lethality or AP or crit. He has to go DPS. Otherwise, they're going to struggle so much to kill Alawi, to kill Graves, to even reach Caitlyn or Syndra. And Zach, Zach Zach goes in, Galio goes in, even Set just kind of runs in, but Morgana Black Shield comes down, and those, like you said, those chains go in. Caitlyn just 90 caliber nets away. Like there's no lockdown, and unless Zach gets that Q off, he'll be able to lock down a target. But this is going to be really tough, and I want to see Cosmos execute better than last game, because last
Yep.
game it was scattered, it was all over the place, it was just kind of like let Elsa figure it out for us. And this game they need to talk. They need to say, all right, to Splash has to say, I'm going in on this target. Galio, follow up on me. Set, be ready to jump on whoever it is. We need to make sure Varus stays out of trouble. Like, they need to be communicating throughout every one of these fights. Otherwise, Turnips Graves is just going to run through them and tear them apart. I hope that he doesn't go for the lethality, because Set, Galio, Zach are going to be so tanky. The lethality is not going to do anything. He should go for more of a bruiser uh, type Graves build. He can go for Ravenous Hydra, which would be really strong on this current Graves. But maybe going for the forget the name of the item, the cleave item that gives you gore. Nope, not gore drinker. Might be gore drinker. I'm sorry. This preseason has thrown me for a loop.
Well, let's actually go and throw a bone to Cosmos here, right? We can hype up and say, look, the draft is very differential here. Okay, what can Cosmos do to win this game? That's the most important question. Well, you can't let the Caitlyn get ahead. The big benefit that you've got is you do have a Lux that can chain CC, can build damage along with the Varus, so ultimately can become a DPS threat when it's not even required. And the rest of the team basically follow up, make sure the carries don't die, and it looks really good. So Titans probably won't want to fight them very early on in a 5-on-5 if they can even get that. But if they can get numbers, now the Zac can gank from very far away. That's another thing that they actually have going for them. The Galio, once level 6, if you can make that instant impact at level 6 and get down to one of the lanes, either top or bottom, preferably bottom, because you want the Varus to accelerate in this game very quickly, very, very quickly. You don't want to see him 1v1 the Caitlyn, not going to win that unless you do have that your speed built up kind of thing. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but the speed steroid that goes along with Varus in itself. So there's very interesting decisions that have to be made on the side of Cosmos to make this go right. Now, if they do win this, if we say hypothetically, if Cosmos do win this, that puts a big stop in the brakes of the train that is Titans here, right? Because they look very, very good in terms of just overall comfortability. And when we look at game one compared to this game already, Cosmos have obviously picked a composition that they feel that they can pull off. Now, this is a team that's in the final. This isn't a regular game. It's not regular season. They're here for a reason. And it's because they were the better of everybody else but Titans. And they're facing that right now. So, I'm going to get a prediction, Jack. I kind of know where you're going with it. And I understand why. But just kind of give us a quick prediction on how you're going to see this game go now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Titan Tots way for this game too as well. Now, Cosmo Wings, they have to play a completely different game than they played last game. At least, not only do they have to play a different style of game, they have to obviously play better. And last game, it was all about avoiding fights that aren't on your terms. This game, it's all about making fights on your terms. It's about having these good engages from Zach, Galio follow up, Set, keeping Varus alive while Varus and Lux lay down some damage. They have to pick their fights, but they have to be aggressive. Caitlyn has a very, very bad mid game when she's trying to get from that first item to that, rapid fire cannon. It's a very low damage output. She kind of just falls off. And then she becomes this unbelievably demonstrative tank in the late game with all of her items with the traps laid down. It's very obnoxious to play against. So they have to be able to fight that Caitlyn during that short period of time where she does not want to be fought.
So, I mean, I'll play devil's advocate again. I mean, usually the team that I predict loses, so maybe I'll just side with Jack here. I think Titans is going to win this. I do want to see Cosmos put up a fight. I do want to see this composition come together, but ultimately we'll need to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, again, I'm going to plug it several times as a giveaway at the end of this, so you don't want to go anywhere because you could be the lucky one, and who knows, that might start your win streak in real life and for your persona. But who knows? We're about to find out after this break. It's game 2, Titans and Cosmos. Mount Olympus. How many Greek references can you do, Lamb? Well, I'm glad you asked. Maybe some more after this. None off the top of my head. Of course, you need to do research on that one, just like anything else. Look at this cheeky invade. Poseidon, the river. There you go. There's a reference for you. But Jack, all to do. We spoke about the win conditions. Slightly changed for Cosmos. In fact, it's not just win the game. Just win. And make sure that you can try and get there as reasonable as you can. Try and stay within range. Because you see the early game very even until that macro starts to take place.
Yeah, I mean, it's going very unreasonably right now. Luck's getting that 20 gold, huge advantage. I mean, it's going to be so fed in the laning phase, as you see. Kind of that invade early, as I'm stumbling with my words, does kind of set everyone up to set up some of those bait pings to come out.
I love penguins, dude.
Love penguins? Oh, is someone using a winter skin?
No, we just seen the emote pop up there. Big penguin fan right here. Not the hockey team.
Oh yeah, all of my fun fact, all of my emotes are different pengu emotes.
That's what we like to see, man. I need to try and get in on that, and I've got the tip of the hat. That's the one that I like. Tip the hat, just solo killed you. You know, when Lamb takes the solo queue, it's a whole different ball game. I start feeding. That's why the rank says it's right. But anyway, Jack, we'll get back into this game. Oh, look at this. Talking about cheese. And bam, they're going to trade back on it. Mr. Smee. Ignite already down. Forces the flash out. The Morgana flash for flash. Heal going to come out as well to accelerate Mr. Smee away from danger. Summoner's already gone for the bot lane right there. But Caitlyn remains with the flash.
I mean, that is pretty much exactly what you want if you are Cosmo Wings. You want to force this Caitlyn Morgana off the wave, because the only way that they win... You have your Greek references. I'll have my talks about pushing bottom lanes, because I'll keep talking about it. Just now that Varus can just zone off of this wave, and Caitlyn is going to be forced to farm from afar for so long, as this is actually lethal for Set right here.
Oh, win lane, win game. Oh, flash for flash, and that's enough to cancel the auto from Elsa from Frozen. I do believe that the Q would have been up for Set, so that might have been another solo kill. Remember, Elsa already has secured the solo kill over Ass in that top lane, and you can see why the aggression and the way that the skill is exuberated from Elsa is very, very pleasing to watch.
I mean, this is really dangerous territory for Ask. If Set gets in range for that Haymaker, he's going to take advantage of it, and he's going to put that Alawi down, as the long-range bindings are landing. The trap is a little off the mark. You see, again, this is lethal for Set, but he does miss the Haymaker.
How's that for confidence? I mean, there's no flash on Ass, but sidesteps that Haymaker regardless, so obviously knows that you have to try and stay with that true damage from the Set if you want to try and survive that 1v1, and does force the Alawi to go back, but teleport in the summoner choice, so should get back and not miss out on a whole lot. Yep, there it is, as the wave just crashes right now. Might miss a minion. We'll get the experience for it, so the Alawi teleport, perfectly timed regardless.
And to get back to what I want to talk about, pushing bottom lanes, Varus Lux did not take a back when they should have after pushing it to the turret. They did stay, but this is going to create a 3v3 that they are not going to win. Hambam is in a horrible position, going to die.
Oh, Hambam, Jabarian, flash comes out from Caitlyn, stretches strikes, goes down, pulls back the AD carry, the binding, not going to land from Mr. Smee in the middle of nowhere, which means first blood, going to go over to the jungler. Cosmos Wings.
Well, I got it wrong. I thought for sure they were going to get that with Scorch, but they aren't able to pick up the kill on Varus. This is kind of a mimic from game one. It's what we saw, going a little bit too far for a kill, and then you don't get the kill and the jungler comes through. And I mean, this is play by play what's happening in game one, except for now we're seeing it come through for Cosmo Wings. The Facebreaker comes in and do so much damage. I mean, teleport was just used, and now you're down to below half HP in this top lane. It is so frustrating playing this matchup. I'm sure Alawi does have an easy time if you can get ahead and get some of those, you know, some of those ease off, let the spirits damage away at the Set. But you are seeing kind of the problems that Riot has failed to address in the top lane in seasons 12 and 13 is Set gets a huge advantage at level 2 or 3, is able to push the enemy top laner back to base. They use teleport, come back, collect a huge wave, Set backs, doesn't use his teleport because he has an advantage. But now, if you notice, Elsa just ticked to level 5. Ask is actually almost an entire level ahead of Elsa, and that is going to save him in so many situations, especially if he keeps hitting these E's. And Graves is going to go in.
End of the line, does proc there, but oh, huge haymaker from Elsa. Says, yeah, you guys are in my lane, but gonna trade back as best I can. Now, that was a very important interaction to happen. Zach is coming up here, and Turnips is canceling the back, actually, because that wave was not in a favorable position for Ask. And remember, Zach will have 2 bites of the cherry. Graves gonna complete the back here, okay, if they're aware of that. They might look to try and do something with the Alawi, but very close to actually level 6 just achieved for the top laner of Titans, so should negate any engage that will come out there. Yeah, Zach thinks twice about that, and T-Splash just going to go back to jungling.
Yeah, obviously, if you've ever played against Alawi, you know that ultimate turns any 2v2 into a losing proposition, and it's just so hard to overcome that amount of damage she does get in healing as well. As this bot lane, you are trying to see what the Lux can do in this kind of oppressive state, but Mr. Shmee missing a couple bindings in a row is going to allow them to freeze this wave. They should stop hitting the minions. Never mind. They are not going to freeze this in front of their turret. They do have a slow push.
There you go,
now
slow
going.
push.
Yeah, it's like second best. So you can get a freeze or you can get a slow push. They are going to kill it though. GG No Rematch wants this to go into turret. They want to. I think just having backed is only sitting on about 500 gold. Not enough to back with anything. Mr. Shmee just throwing out these max range bindings. Actually, Mr. Shmee would probably be better off. Oh, never mind. There is a Graves in that bush. And I was going to say Mr. Shmee would be better off roaming right now with the push being where it is, but in reality, Turnips would be better off being anywhere but here, because I don't think a play is going to happen. His whole top side is available, and both teams know it. So Zach is just cutting off his escape, going to get the Scuttle Crab right now. They are going to meet. Never mind, Galio is going to miss there.
Pulls back, no turret. Gets a little bit of damage with Colossal Smash, but very interesting interaction down the bot there. Turnips looking for something that, quite frankly, isn't going to happen. Varys and Lux in full control, actually, of how that wave state is going. So a lot of people out there put their channel points on the Titans, and I mean, you got to be shaking in your boots a little bit. I'm only joking. Very early on in the game, only a kill going over, but Dragon still available, and it looks like Titans, they have full control with that bot side river. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see Graves start that one up with Ace in the hole coming through, which means Hambam can't go aggressive in this lane no more.
Yeah, and Turnips did have a little bit of a skirmish there with the splash. Did pick up the Scuttle Crab, did Turnips, and that is going to be a little bit of an advantage with Hambam being forced. He's not actually going to take the back and collect this wave under turret. Should probably back after that, but that is going to allow them to take this dragon. Zach elected to just take his top side. If I'm Zach, you know you're taking your top side right now. You've been watching Graves this whole game. You know exactly where he's been. You should just go take his top side. Try and gain some advantage there in the jungle. It looks like both of them are, he's a level behind because of the dragon take. And I think he's about 1 camp behind. But also from Frozen is in lethal range. He's going to...
Oh my god! Okay, thought twice about it. They trade. Flash for flash, ult for ult, and now Ash will get full priority to smack on that turret. Demolish proc gonna go down and gets paid for that commitment from Elsa. If Zach was a little bit closer, they could have made something happen there, but ultimately we're seeing just that big battle in that top lane again in Elsa. Just kind of showing glimpses of what he can do on this set, champion.
I mean, the boss coming through, making that play. Flash forward.
Oh, the boss is spoken. Hambam, flash forward, chains of corruption. That's a kill on the GG No Rematch. Hold on, going north. Oh, baby, it's Cosmos' ass falls in the top lane.
I mean, this is exactly what they wanted. It's what I said in Champ Select. Forcing fights. Flash forward, corrupting chains out of Eris. Forces the 2v2 in the bottom lane. Zach making that gank happen, forces a fight in the top lane. This is exactly what they need to be doing, and Cosmo Wings are playing to their comp, and they are playing it well. They are doing what we said they needed to do. They forget about last game. Move on. We are in a new game, and we have to win 3 games. That's all we have to do. And they're off to a pretty hot start in this one, putting themselves in a good position to win. I think the only disadvantage I can really think of for them is the fact that, you know, Set's going to be a little bit squishier because of his build, and Galio's not going to do a ton of damage just because of the champ. But other than that, Varus is getting ahead. Zac is going to be such a annoying tank. They're in a really good spot right now. I do think that we do see a lot of pushes coming out here. Red team.
Mike muted, report. Mike muted, report. I was about to say, sorry, I cut you off. I was about to say you can now see the confidence that's coming out of Cosmos in that mid lane, especially like Galio now trading with no turret pretty consecutively and not really afraid of the mid laner anymore. See Elsa winning that lane, and down in the bottom, they're winning all lanes. Win lane, win game, Jack.
Yep, and that is exactly the case in this game as well. They're pushing out this bottom lane. They're struggling to do anything in this top side. Ask is getting the push, but I think that's exactly what Elsa from Frozen wants. Just let the wave sit here. He's going to complete that fork eventually. Doesn't really matter when. It's not going to do too much. His set is really more about the kit than the items it has. Radiant Virtue completed from Zac. That item is very expensive, but it applies so many incredible stats to your team. It was just buffed as well recently. So that ability haste is going to be so important for Galio. He's going to be able to get so many taunts down. I cannot check, but I really hope he's... I can check. He is not maxing his W. I know he's going for AP Galio, but he really should be maxing it.
Lancing money again. GG no rematch gets a flash out. Soul Shackles come out. Piercing arrow. Oh, from downtown. That's it. Ham bam, baby. He gets the clients to get away from that. Mr. Smee has to get out there too. We're seeing the Operation Cosmos in full effect. There's no turret forced out of the mid lane.
I mean, that is like walking into no man's land in an active battlefield. I don't know why he walked back into piercing arrow range, but he completely gives over that kill. And this game, it's still only a 1k gold advantage, just barely, but you know, with the build paths that are currently going on, you're starting to see these slip-ups are going to pile on, and it is going to start, you know, really affecting how these mid-games turn out. Set has the teleport. It's going to become unbound in about a minute. He's going forward here. Looks for the kill.
Oh, leap of faith. He popped him. Where the hell did Elsa go? Let me tell you. That's a solo in the top lane for Ask on the Alawi.
He remembered to Facebreaker, remembered to Showstopper, but did not remember to Haymaker. I mean, he did everything right. He had the fully charged passive and just didn't pull it out. And that leaves him just, I mean, dead. And that Alawi, like I said, that all comes down. It's followed up by so much damage. And now that top lane is going to completely flip. Alawi is going to have so much control. The experience, I already said it, Alawi was almost a level up in experience. Now is going to be even further ahead. Is that level 11 with that level 2 ultimate, but
look at
GG no rematch.
He's charging. Elastic slingshot, no summoners on the AD carry everything. Oh! That is as clean as you get.
That is utter domination. And now they are completely pincered in by the Galio. Galio's got Predator activated. They might want to turn this. Lux Binding will not land. Well, flash forward with the taunt.
Flash forward. Wow, Shielded Duran going off and the old claim too. Elastic slingshot, Shred's going to pull by Mr. Smee. Mid-air. Morgana still walking it out. Turnip's going to walk it out as well. Wow, Cosmos, they picked these champions for a reason, and now we're seeing that come to fruition. Mr. Smee, very close to dying here, actually. He is going to burn. What is he doing? Epic champion, claiming that one, the Pike champion, whatever you want to call it. Snow going to be body blocked, no turret waiting. Flash forward, Handbam goes across the wall, Venoms as well, and the whole squad is here. 5 strong Cosmos look to collapse on the no turret as well. Final spark just out of range. Elsa from Frozen going to walk that one out, and it looks like the dragon will be their next focus.
No turret's looking around going, guys, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? I'm 0-0, I'm winning my mid lane, I'm up 30 CS, just let me win this game. But they go for these fights. Like I said, Cosmos just wants to fight and win on their own terms, and they're being allowed to do that right now. Caitlyn cannot set up her traps. She's not even at the mid-game point where she sucks yet. Oh my god, just exploded.
Hey, Splash in trouble here as well. Overstayed for that dragon. Dragon a piece, but going to give over 2 kills for it. So more gold going back over to Titans as they actually capture that gold lead now.
And that's actually huge. I mean, this is one of those finicky things about League of Legends is kills really don't do that much for you. They give you some gold, but with all of those kills, it was 7 to 1 kills. They barely had a 1k gold advantage. 2 kills go the way of Titan Tots, and it now has completely flipped 800 gold in the favor of Titan Tots. And they're able to now get kills onto their carry. The game plan completely changes now. All they have to do is protect this Syndra. The constant DPS that Syndra gets with that evolved Q, having those double stacks of it available to her, she's able to do so much, and No Turret is more than capable of piloting this champion. Galio also having no resistances, going for the full damage Galio. This turret is going to go over. Galio, she gotta get that turret though. Yeah.
Last remaining one going to go down. No Turret claims that mid lane turret, and like I said, all our turrets now down from Cosmos. It's enough to get the kills, but you have to play the macro game too, as Turnips survives that onslaught of the set. Again, also for Frozen, just falling a little bit short with these engages, not really securing any kills. And that patience from Titans here now, Jack, it's starting to pay off a little bit, because now they're starting to pull them apart. The desperation might be seeping through.
Yeah, I talked about it a lot last game when they were winning, but even in a dangerous situation, the poise being shown, especially from, you know, No Turret here, being able to stay in this difficult situation and just hold your own, knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel, there is a way to come back into this game, not panicking and just trying to throw anything at the wall to see what sticks. They're just farming up the Caitlyn. They know the Gale Force is completed, so we are seeing the correct itemization, but now we get into the dark ages of Caitlyn. She needs to get that rapid fire cannon, needs to get that burst damage on her autos and that extra range to set up those traps and just lay down damage in these team fights, but that's going to just completely handicap her ability to do damage right now. I mean, you can talk about it all day, but you really don't actually see how weak this Caitlyn becomes until you see it with your own eyes. So we will look out for that in team fights, but the Syndra is so accelerated, has that Hextech component item, the Hextech alternator. It does so much damage. I remember back in the day, it used to be the Hextech Gunblade, and it would just give you flat AP on top of your abilities. It would just do an extra. It was like having an extra ability in your item slot. So that is going to amount to a lot of extra damage if you can find someone like the Venoms on Lux, just trying to clear wards. If Syndra could, you know, can find that and pop it off. I don't like what they're doing right now with Syndra down in the bottom lane all alone. They are going to go for this. Tons of damage comes out from the Alawi, but they can't actually find the kill. It's the Divine Sunderer is what it is allowing her to do that much damage.
Oh, we're reaching a null state in this game that really it doesn't benefit the side of Cosmos here. It gives more time for the carriers of Titans to actually come online. The Graves, not really spoke about Turnips in this one. It's been all No Turret in that mid lane, but you see the CS discrepancy. It's about a 35 lead for the Syndra. Very accelerated in this game, looking really good, not out of place. And it's one of those things that Titans can fall back on any individual on their team and they know that they can carry, but the win condition for Cosmos still exists. Ham Bam is ahead of the Caitlyn. About just, I believe it's about 1,000 gold, 1,100 gold for this AD carry. And so far, like you said, the Caitlyn needs a little bit more time, but Ham Bam needs to get up there as well with the on-hit DPS that Varus can offer here.
Yeah, and he's doing I mean, he's literally like crawling inside of my brain, going the exact build I think he should go. Going for that Immortal Shield Bow. Going for that Immortal Shield Bow first, getting all of those incredible lifesteal stats. Throwing out the Corrupting Chains is going to land on Syndra.
Oh, Venoms was charging the ultimate, and Mr. Shmee will secure that one. Very unfortunate, but you're not in the fog of war there. Look at the vision in the southern side of that river towards the mid. It belongs fully to Titans as they gear up potentially to contest this dragon. 20 seconds, but Venoms will be up for it.
It is these little mistakes that are going to cost you the game, and you see Titans execute so well off of these small minor mistakes. Hambam is going to take a lot of damage from that ace in the hole, and has his jump stop.
Splash gets interrupted. Unleash power, unleash Syndra. No Turrets, third kill of the game, and they pick off the most important member for this dragon. The Zac not going to be available for this.
They're so coordinated. They are so locked into this game. None of them have given up. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, Varus going for the exact correct item build, the Immortal Shield Bow coming down, getting those extra tank stats to allow him to auto attack more often, or just to auto attack for longer. And you also see the Wit's End is being built second. I believe that's Wit's End. I hope it's not. I think it's one other
Predator
item. As a
activate. They're going to go for it. Shielded Durando. Multiple members there.
Oh.
Pulls back Mr. Smee. Gets exploded. Forward
Taking
goes
turn.
that Pie Champion. He gets deleted on the front of that. Graves claims the kill. Showstopper going in from the top laner. Elsa for Frozen. But Venom's handbam still alive. How fancy footwork is it? Gets chained up by Lux. Sets him up. That's a double kill for Venom's. Handbam gets the cleanse out. Walks away from that one. But meanwhile on the top side, Ash left alone with a second tier.
Was a little bit of miscommunication in that fight. No Turt running away when they could have turned it into a 2v2 fight win. I don't think Zac wins this though, even with that aftershock proc. No Turt has so much damage, so much magic penetration that I don't think the resistances are enough. Meanwhile, I think he got an entire turret top lane, is sitting on, yes, definitely did, sitting on a ton of gold. He is 1,300 gold ahead of the set. This allow is going to be such a problem. But I mean, this is... these fights are going so back and forth, but at the end of the day, Titans have a 3k gold advantage. I mean, they're so well set up. All they have to do is execute in these team fights. The Caitlyn is halfway towards that rapid fire cannon, almost complete with the cull, so that is going to accelerate her quite far into the build. What's then completed for Hambam does have that extra resistances against the Syndra, which is so important. The Radiant Virtue is going to come through too, allowing Varus to send out more piercing arrows, but for on hit, it's not really that big of a deal. It will help mostly the set and the Lux, but I mean, really well set up. Caitlyn just trying to establish a line of defense. No turrets have been taken for Cosmo Wing, so they're, I mean, this is literally like solo queue League of Legends. They're just getting kills. They're just looking for kills everywhere, but they're not getting any objectives. They have a dragon, they've gotten a Rift Herald. I believe they actually got both Rift Heralds. But they haven't been able to translate that into any turrets, and Ask is just destroying Elsa in this top lane. As far ahead as Cosmo Wings seemed to have been, it's going to be difficult for them to set up a winning, except for if they turn this here.
They'll for sure get the ultimate out of the Alawi. They do, and they get out of there. Flash forward with Harsh Lesson. Elsa still tanking now, so another Tested Spirit goes out. Lands those. Binding goes out from Venoms to negate any further onslaught that is to come in that top side. They're very scattered here. Flash comes out from Venoms. Stay alive. Ace in the hole going to go down. Onto Lux. Take her under 50%. But it looks like Titans are grouped as 5 here with the Baron on the board. They're certainly walking in that direction right now.
And this is a kind of risky, but like I said, they have the Caitlyn. They can put those traps down. It buys you so much time. These team fights are so difficult to win because of those Caitlyn traps, and they have so much DPS with the Graves, but Elsa with the teleport behind is set up here. Has a lot of resistances built into his kit. The Baron's going low. Not stolen by Lux.
That final spot's so close. This is very risky. They can get picked off here. Showstopper. Okay, they commit everything. They get the shutdown, more importantly, onto the AD carry. Hambam secures the kill onto no turret. They get the Baron, but they give up the mid laner's shutdown for it.
That's huge. The rapid fire is completed for Caitlyn. We are going to see this ADC start coming around, but Mr. Shmee's got to get out of here.
Don't want more. Black Shield already down. The whole goon squad is right here. All collateral in the wrong way. Turnips signs his death sentence right there. Mr. Shmee goes stasis. Stay alive. Soul Shackles just doesn't go off in time to root up to his splash. That's 2 down. Only 3 members remain with the Baron.
They absolutely needed that. They were falling so far behind so quickly. The mental could have boomed so hard if they went down a Baron and didn't get anything off of that, but they pick up 3 kills, or 2 kills, excuse me, and moving towards that rage, that Gwynsu's Rage Blade now for Varus, there's going to be so much damage coming out of this AD carry. Hambam, the keys to the kingdom are in his hands. All he has to do is position correctly and just take down these carries in the correct order. They need to make sure no turret cannot lay down this incredible damage he has at his disposal. I mean, we have Dragon spawning in 37 seconds. There's just no time to breathe, and everything needs to be executed so perfectly. They're fighting for vision control right now because they know every little thing matters. I would try and kill one of these. Oh, never mind. I would have died there. I was going to say step on one of these traps, but Syndra was waiting in the wings. to pick up a kill. With the teleport on bound, Alawi is able to split push as well, and they're going to push forward for his vision. I mean, literally on a knife's edge, any wrong move and you're dead, and I mean, you could be down 0-2, or you could lose the advantage you have being up 1-0.
So for anyone that isn't aware of how Lux actually works, that ultimate goes out every time it's off cooldown. 36 seconds on the Lux final spark. So if you do see that, even dueling for ward, that's the reason why. Okay, they might be looking for a 5-on-5 showstopper, going to bring Ask in the rest of the team. That might be a mistake. Ultimate's going to go out from the Alawi. Zach goes into the backline, gets scarred the weak straight back. Turnip's going to quick draw forward, still going forward with Taste Splash. Goes low, Cell Division's going to be proc there. Epi Champion gets stun up on Turnips, but also Frozen. Still trying to get something out of the range of Soul Shackles. They'll pick off the Galio. They'll still go for it. They're going to root up the AD carry. Varus claims the kill. Turnips walking away. 20% health on him. He flashes back in. Binding going to land on the money, but Graves will secure the kill. Is that going to kill the mid laner? And this looks like a favourable fight for Cosmos Wings, as only 2 remain against Mr. Shmee, and that Baron won't mean a whole lot after this kill. Also from Frozen, the captain, chasing this one down, looking for the 5th kill of the game. Buying time, Mr. Shmee, Facebreaker back in, and that's going to be the ace.
Perfect balance, as all things should be. A completely even fight. Every team needs to make every moment count. Flashes are used. Everyone is putting everything on the line. In fact, let me just double check. Not a single summoner spell. Ah, damn it. Syndra's teleport just became available. They used almost every summoner spell in the game during that fight. And just, they had to do everything right. And Ask, in my opinion, makes the crucial mistake. That ultimate goes out from Alawi, only catches the set that ulted. He needed to be just a second more patient, wait for them to collapse on him fully. And that maybe would allow Ask to stay alive just a little bit longer. But in the end, as the blue buff is picked up by Turnips, the dragon does go over to Titan Tots, and that is huge. They still retain a near 3k gold lead. The Graves is extremely far ahead right now and did opt for that lethality, but he does have 3 fully completed lethality items, including that Lord Dominic, so he's going to be able to get through these tanks just a little bit easier now. And, I mean, giving over the blue buff to Lux, they understand this is a full AP Lux that just happens to be playing in the support role and needs so much. Heartsteel coming out for set, opting to not go for the Jack shows. I kind of disagree with that. Heartsteel kind of was the preseason darling. It's what everyone thought was going to be OP, but oh my god.
Wow. Battle of the Bindings. There's Caitlyn going to get something back. Return damage. Mr. Shmee within a slither of his life, and this game is absolutely ridiculous. You can see how much Cosmos has stepped this up, but Jack, even after all of that, Titans still have the gold lead, and now they have Soul Point.
I mean, they have forced Cosmo Wings into a position where they have to execute perfectly. And because even in that last fight, they decisively won. They got 5 kills for 3. But with Graves and Set available, or not Graves, excuse me, Zach and Set available, they couldn't do anything with it. They've only taken 1 turret. They just are struggling so heavily to gain any actual tangible advantages from these teamfight wins. And I mean, they have to build a stronger advantage here. It can't just be kills. They're up 7 kills. You'd think if you just were watching League of Legends on face value without casters playing, you'd think, wow, we should be way far ahead. We have 7 kills, more than them. But it doesn't equate to much when you don't have any turrets, when you're down 3 dragons to 1, when your ADC is the one with all of the value, when you're itemizing incorrectly, like we see the set doing. Luckily, they are going for what is quickly becoming my least favorite item, the Shirelia's Reverie, on the support again. What is that movement speed actually going to do for you when everyone's melee? Doesn't matter, you don't need movement speed. But the Zhonya's does come in. Morgana is essentially a champion that doesn't need items. They could run this champion like ultimate bravery and it wouldn't matter, as they are going to force this Baron. There is no vision on it. Turnips is actually taking red buff right now, doesn't even know what's going on.
Oh, look at the squad right now though. Caitlyn, Morgana, Syndra coming up behind the team here. There's no way to get out of this. Venoms goes down to less than 50%. Flash away from no turret, gets out of the range of the Zac, and he's absolutely blowing up. No cell division available. Teleport coming in, it's very late. Elsa on an island all by himself and gets deleted straight on a Caitlyn trap. and it's just falling apart a little bit for Cosmos here. The desperation of the Baron attempt, was it needed?
It's like I said, they forced them into that position. They knew they needed to do something, otherwise these fights were just going to continue going in the favor of Titan Tots, and with that force being had, they make a huge mistake. They elect to turn that fight rather than force the Baron down, and Zach goes in one and just dies, and then Set TP's in way late trying to turn it, but he's all by himself.
The Pi champion in trouble here. Final spark comes out, but Stasis available again for Mr. Smee. Flash forward and makes the play happen. They pick off the Galio again. And why not? Look what's on the board right here. It's the Infernal Dragon. It's the Infernal Soul. Ready to be claimed. 2000. Smite is good. Turnip secures it. And that's going to be the 5th dragon, 4th consecutive for the side. The Titans, as they have just accelerated a little bit further beyond that gold lead. Doubled now. Almost 5,000 the gold lead. They're going to fall back onto no turret. They'll pick off the Syndra. Another shutdown goes on to Elsa. But that soul has been achieved.
Yeah, that soul is going to be so monumentally important for this team. Able to pick that up now after that win, even with no turret going down, that is still unbelievably a fight in your favor. Baron plus soul is so important. Hambam is going to take a lot of damage, actually. Never mind. Elsa for Frozen will tank it. Tank it like a homie. It's a real boss right there.
So where do they go from here, Jack? Because right now they're struggling with this macro game. They cannot get these other 2 outers right now. They're kind of showing the hand of Titans. They're saying, well, we're just going to defend them here, as you see. Oh, Elsa going to get tagged up. Haymaker comes out. Zach dives back in. They will kill off the set, but the rest of the team is going to be available to go back onto Mr. Smee going low. They're going to collapse and kill the Grave. Shutdown gold going back over to AD carries. Mr. Smee running away, but Pierce Narrow will be up right now. It's not on the money by Hambam, but he's got that attack speed steroid in play. Zavaris picks up 2.
But Ask is in their base, killing their turrets, killing their inhibitors. They just got 2 kills on 2 of the more important members, and all of them are backing. All of them are backing. Alawi can't kill your Nexus. You don't all need to back. If you look, all 5 members except for Set, who's dead, are in the Nexus, or in the base right now. And the mid lane turret could have easily been taken, but instead they get 2 kills and they get absolutely nothing for it. They're down 5k. I mean, you need to see some sort of awareness, some sort of coordination there by the team to understand, guys, we need to get something tangible with these wins. You keep catching them out of position, but it doesn't matter when they have Baron, they have Soul, and you die. She did Caitlyn half health Sferis with 1 auto attack, and now he's dead.
Oh, Hambam, good stasis coming out from him. Actually procs the shield bow. They're going to stay alive. Ace No going to be body blocked by Venos, but look how much damage this is now offering the Caitlyn. There's a problem as Taste Splash takes the test of the spirit from the Alawi. Level 17 now on us, proving a big problem. Elsa from Frozen gets a Haymaker out, but that's still going to get the Harsh Lesson, get Showstopper back in, but that's only in range of the tentacle. Secures the kill onto Set. High Champion has to dash away with a shielded grab, but actually Justice Punch, he may as well shield himself up and get the hell out of there, because the macro game is strong with Titans.
Yeah, Baron has fallen off, but this could be easily game right now. Going for these turrets, soaking up. They have it on all 3 fronts. Super minions are pushing into the top lane. They have push actively going in the mid lane and top lane.
He's the damage. If he goes, oh, this could be it.
Yep.
The game has been almost perfect for Cosmos up until this point. Venom's burning. This is going to get picked off, and Titans, the Leviathan, the animal, pushing in, trying to end this game, and they will. They get the kills. They get the pressure. Their macro game is on point, and now they're on those Nexus turrets.
You said Titan Tots would have to conquer Mount Olympus if they were going to win these finals. Well, I'm sad to say Cosmos does not have Kratos on their side to combat them, as Titans will take Game 2.
I mean, it just looked so good from a Cosmos point of view, but it just... The key things that needed to happen in that game in order for them to close it out: play the map. Stop just zoning in on the kills. Okay, if somebody's going to die, take somebody. It's that old cliche in solo queue. You report your team if you get 5 top and they don't take anything. You have to make that balance between yin and yang, and it didn't seem like it was happening there for them. They got
I mean,
lost.
this is League of Legends at its highest form mentally. Obviously, play wise, maybe not, but mentally, this is League at its highest form. These decisions you have to make, guys. We're down 7-1 in kills, but don't get tilted to play the exact same way because we have, we have all our turrets. We have a better scaling comp. We still can win team fights 5v5, even 4v5. They won team fights, and it came down to Cosmo Wing's itemization, came down to their champion picks. You can win with that draft, but Galio has to go tank. I mean, if you look, Galio did almost as much damage as the full tank Zac. So you just need to itemize correctly. You need to play as well as you can. And I mean, No Turret, in my opinion, if they win another game, No Turret's MVP, no question. Just absolutely, when the bot lane was falling behind, is sometimes the Mr. Schmeeg GG no rematch bot lane can fall behind. We have seen it, but Turnip's not even that, didn't even have that much of a game, but No Turret, just really impressive performance.
Well, let's go back to it really quickly before we cut to the break. The win condition is still there for Cosmos. Win 3 games of League of Legends, and you win the championship. But the same can be said for Titans. I spoke to Turnips, and he told me that he is very confident of a 3-0, but they might give Cosmos 1 game because they feel bad for them. That's his words, not mine. And so far, it's looking like it's on the money, making it look like it's so easy out there, and they have everything. Even if they fall behind, they can still come out on top. I mean, even fall behind, they only fell behind on the kills, on the macro, on the objectives, on the gold. They were still in command. So we'll need to see if Titans can keep it going. They're on point for a 3-0 in the final with the SCL, same as the semifinals. So after this break, we'll see if they can make that happen. Well, as Jack said, Mount Olympus is that close to being conquered. That close. But as we know in Greek mythology, Jack, it doesn't matter how close it is, because ultimately Zeus and everybody else is overpowered to hell, and basically the Titans lose in the end, so it doesn't really matter. But it doesn't really apply to what we're seeing here. Cosmos, they stepped it up last game. Ham Bam, God bless him, had the game of his life, but it just wasn't enough as they fell short. They kind of fell away from that win condition to just win the game. They were winning on kills, but they forgot to transpire that into the actual map.
Yeah, they didn't get anything out of it. They took their first turret probably around like 20 minutes. They finally got that bot lane turret. And I actually think even at the end of the game, did they take another turret the whole game? I don't think they did.
No, I believe it was just the one. And
Yeah,
we're in
so
picks and bans, by the way, and they opted to stay blue again. By the way, ladies and gentlemen. So what that means is, well, they ban away the Caitlyn first of all, but they're going to take the Syndra. I like this takeaway personally. It means that no turret. You have to pick something else here. He has a range of champions, but ultimately, can you play it on this stage? I mean, with the confidence that this guy is exuberant, and then it's a question that it doesn't really need to be answered.
yeah, and it allows them to kind of do the first picking solo lanes allows you to do something kind of fancy within the draft itself. You can kind of go for a double counter pick where right now you pick either your ADC, your support, or your jungle in these first two picks that you have to show, and then you save that third pick before the ban phase for your mid laner because now you know what it is. Now you want to see as many picks as possible before you pick your mid lane. So they want to hold it till that third pick, but they can pick up this Viego that was very effective in game one, was banned away in
Hmm.
game two, and Turnips showed. I think Turnips was a little bit better on the Viego than he was on the Graves.
Graves, we didn't really see what Graves can do. And now Graves has been a champion that many people have taken to the Rift this season, and I think the win rate is very close, but I still believe it's in the positive. But last game for Turnips, didn't really see the reward, the risk to reward that he's seen on the Viego in that first game. And now Italians can kind of relax, right? I mean, it's game three of a possible three for them. They want to win this one. They want to put it to bed. They don't want to give Cosmos any false belief that they can actually win this. But taking away the Syndra, like I said, it throws a little spanner in the works. They can say, well, look, we'll run it back, guys, to whatever champions are available, or they can keep whatever they were keeping. And now, Talia, this was a champion I was just about to bring up. If it is locked in, this is a specialty of No Turret, which is no secret to how well he can play this champion.
Yeah, Talia is one of those champions. You put in the time and the effort. If you're able to land those seismic shifts onto those rocks, you can do so much damage. You can consistently put this down so much displacement. It's so frustrating to fight against. And now, I don't know. Do we trust Cosmo Wings to draft properly into the Talia? Because if you pick melee, if you pick dive, the Talia is going to shred through you. So we have to kind of say, Cosmos, can we count on you to draft correctly into this? I don't want to see Zach or any of those champions that want to fly in. I want to see something set up, like maybe so it's not banned. Maybe the Maokai coming through on this first rotation. You don't want to show your hand more than you already have with showing your solo laner with your first pick. Although I do agree it was a very good first pick. I want to see them maybe either take their bottom lane or grab the
Hmm.
jungler. The Ashe is a fantastic pick. Another long range champion that can get the push early game. Maybe Varus could have been picked up again. I think Varus could have been good as well, but I'm not going to complain about Ashe. Now you just need to pair it with something to just get it through. I don't want to see a damage oriented bottom laner. I want to see something supportive, and that's exactly what we will see with Balulu.
Yeah, that pairing is pretty nice, especially for the Viego. It makes them think twice about jumping in there. And of course, you have the ultimate from the Ash that's on a relatively low cooldown as the game goes on. But Seraphine being hovered here by Titans is a champion that we haven't really seen consecutively since probably the beginning of the SCL. Now, I know, Jack, that this champion resides in your champion pool. You know this champion very well. And if they are going to pick it here, of course, it can still be flexed. There's a bunch of flexing that can go on here, right? I mean, the Viego, the Talia, the Seraphine, very interchangeable in terms of like the jungle, even the mid. And I wouldn't be surprised if Titans would throw something up to the top lane and basically say, ask, go play this and try and keep Elsa from Frozen up there. But I feel like this game we've seen glimpses of Ham Bam, we've seen glimpses of Elsa from Frozen. Now they kind of need to make up their mind here. What are they going to try and do? Who are you going to try and accelerate? Who's going to be that much more effective? And so far in these 5-on-5 team compositions, Titans have had it. So that split pushing, the Camille, you already mentioned it. It resides in the champion pool of Elsa from Frozen. So you want to see something that's going to change up the game a little bit and not follow the same suit, which it has, because as soon as they get to a stage 20 minutes into the game, 22 minutes in the game, it's all basically any Aram again. It's everybody to the mid lane. It's everybody hovering around the rivers and not actually doing a whole lot. So now they fall behind on CS, they fall behind on objectives. So how can they make that happen with the 3 picks they've already got in their team composition?
They need to play calm. They need to. They honestly, they need to not play like they're down 0-2. They need to play calm, collected. With the draft they have right now, it's just about winning this one game in front of you. You know, it's just this is the only game that matters. This one game right here. We can scale through Ashe, scale through Syndra. Lulu will support them very well in the mid game. If Seraphine, which I'm assuming because of what elo it is, if Seraphine goes support, she's going to kind of be locked into what she's able to do. If she goes ADC, you're in big trouble because the amount of damage that comes out, the amount of healing and shielding that will come out to support the Viego will be insane. But I don't believe they'll put it in a gold generating role. And
A
we've
magical
got
journey.
Bard.
A magical journey. Titans
Mish,
certainly
mish,
on
me.
that journey. If they make it, and I mean, this is something to accredit Titans for. And I know we're hyping up Titans a lot, and you can see why. Of course, we're not writing off Cosmos yet. There's still games to be played. But Titans have been on such an ascendancy in this tournament, in the playoffs. They 3-0'd Optimal Esports. If they 3-0 Cosmos Wings, they're 6-0 in the semi-finals and the finals of the SCL in the first season. Now, we're going to see Amumu be locked in there. Interesting pick, has to be said. I mean, they're obviously worried about that, that engage that can come. The Curse to the Sad Mummy can be paired up with the Ashe, the Lulu. Yeah, it's going to confirm that that's probably going to go with the support role. I think you're trolling if it doesn't. If not, they're having fun with it. But the Amumu being locked in here, an interesting pick here, Jack.
You need to pick Maokai. Maokai would have been so good. Would have been so clean in this position. You need a tank. Amumu is a tank, obviously, but he doesn't really accomplish what you need in terms of like going in. You don't really need that. You can kind of let them come to you, and if they don't come, if Titan Tots doesn't come to you, then we don't really want to fight. And last pick, Garen. I think they're just going for complete comfort here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just saying, you know what, guys, like we're not winning on macro. We're barely winning micro, and we just people are memeing in chat, but Seraphine Bard is an extremely oppressive lane when played correctly. You just can't approach the wave because when you have Seraphine's echoed Q, and that I do believe that means that Seraphine will be going ADC, which is incredible, something we rarely get to see Seraphine in a gold generating role, but able to get that Leandri's Torment, able to get
Oh,
towards those
baby.
damage items. And Garen has so many counter picks. At this low elo, Garen can be effective, but in higher ranks as the champion is just useless. But Seraphine, plays this lane right and gets the push, able to go back to base, get those items, come back into base or into lane, being so far ahead right off the gate. It's going to be so hard for this Ashe Lulu to ever do anything, and it's really going to start to be oppressive.
So I want to, just as an observation, I want to bring it back. So Cosmos have a lot of single target deletion. What do Titans have to counteract that? Viego, Talia, Seraphine, Yone. 4 carries. 4. I mean, maybe Bard. If Bard gets ahead, Mr. Smee, you better believe he'll build attack speed. I mean, he does what he does, but I find it very hard to find a positive for Cosmos in this team composition. Okay, they take away the Syndra. I really like that. I think that was really good. They pick up the Ashe, the Lulu, and I'm like, well, you know what? That pick potential is there, but who are you going to accelerate with those picks? You needed either to go heavy CC in the jungle, like you already mentioned, the Maokai would have been great. They go heavy CC in the Amumu, but Maokai offers a lot more lockdown potential. You could argue that Amumu can. The Curse of the Sad Moment comes out, you get the reactivation from Banished Star. So maybe they're a little bit balanced, but the Garen here, Elsa from Frozen basically says, "I'm going to win my lane. I'm going to win the game, and if I don't win the lane, then it's just over." But Garen's damage compared to an infinite scaling Yone, infinite scaling Seraphine, Talia, Viego, it just seems like a comp diff to me,
Yeah, and they all kind of work
unfortunately.
together. Seraphine can easily get in range of Yone and Viego and give them those buffs, those W buffs. I still, even in this game, having Talia already doing magic damage, I honestly would go for a full support Seraphine build. Go for Moonstone Renewer. Go for are they have any lifesteal? They have Garen healing. Ashes might build on hit, so maybe you go Chemtech Putrefier and apply that to your whole team. Um, Actually, with the health regen, it's probably worth it to go Chemtech Putrefier because you apply it to every one of your teammates when you W. They
Hmm.
have enough magic damage. They don't need to have another Leandri's Torment. They'll probably already have one with Talia. So you can afford to just let, Ask has kind of held his own in his decision making. His early laning phase is a bit, solo queue. But his late game decision making, they lost a lot of those fights, but were able to stay in the game, were able to hold on to their objectives because Ask was in the right place, saying, I don't need to team fight. I need to take their inhibitor. I need to take their turrets. So him on the Yone versus Garen, I think that is a very interesting matchup to watch, but Bard Seraphine bottom lane is going to be so difficult to deal with if they play this right.
And I really wanted to see if they were going to pick the Amumu and the Garen, then I want to see the Varus be run back. Uh, I mean, the Varus would suit this composition much more than what the Ash can. Ash really is like a slow bot. It doesn't really get up to the same standards as a lot of the prioritized AD carries in the meta right now. But let's go to an alternate universe where Cosmos Swings wins this game. How do they win this game? Get the Garen online, get him accelerated 5-0, 6-0, killing the Yone, forcing the Yone back, diving the Yone with the Amumu over and over again. Let the rest of the team play safe so that they can at least get to the mid game. Focus on your CS, focus on getting the gold into the pocket, spend your items, and then just give away the objectives until eventually you can open up that top lane and start to bring numbers, and then you can counteract that throughout the map, right? That's one of the win conditions, if not the win condition that Cosmos have. Is it going to work like that the way that Titans are playing? I don't know. I don't know. I hope that Cosmos definitely leave a mark. They've been so exciting to watch this season every time that they've taken to the Rift, and I really want to see them not go out as a 3-0. They're not a team that deserves that. But on the flip side of that, you can say that Titans, they deserve the 3-0. They have been so eccentric at closing out games, at winning the 1v1 matchup, that operate in that macro game, and they've just looked leagues ahead of everybody else. That's why they're in the final here. But again, gonna get a prediction from you, Jack. I think I know what way you're going. You'll be clean sweeping if you do, but let us know officially who's going to win this and potentially win the series here.
I do think Cosmos has a very clear win con. You have a Mumu to go in, Garen just hits his Q and maybe like hits Ghost. Hopefully he takes Ghost and just goes in, Ash ults someone, and it's just kill one target. All they have to do is pick one person, kill them, and then see what happens from there. But with that being said, I still think you're going to have too much damage coming out of Viego, Yone. Talia is just going to be constantly throwing out those rocks. Seraphine healing and shielding her entire team. Bard just stunning you and slowing you and autoing you and ulting, just stopping your momentum. I mean, as I'm explaining the win con, I'm realizing that Bard completely nullifies any chance they have to kill one target because all he has to do is ult them, and then them and everyone around them are Zanyas. So if you ask me to predict, which you did, I'm gonna have to go Titan Tots clean 3-0.
Okay. Arguably, there's no arguing. Titans have looked that much convincing, but guys, we're going to cut to a small break when we come back. Will the Titans be able to conquer Mount Olympus, send Zeus and the gang back to their daddy and say, forget about it? Kratos, you name it. Gaia. I mean, they're basically where am I going with this? Anyway, we're going to a break, and when we come back, it might be the finale that we're looking for. You need to stay tuned after it. There's a giveaway, and we got interviews and everything coming after it. But after this break, third game of the night, Cosmos Swings against Titans. Game 3 coming at you. SCL season. At the very end, this could be it, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean, if you've seen anything in this stream other than the dominating performances coming out from Titans, you can see that the overlays make things oh so exciting for next season. We cannot wait. But it's not next season right now, Jack. We still have games to play, potentially. Games here. Ultimate Spellbook coming out from No Turk. We've seen him run this before as well. And you already touched on the Seraphine running the cleanse, very interestingly enough.
Yeah, with teleport, Seraphine is able to do an incredibly oppressive start. I love using that word. Seraphine is able to kill the first 3 or 4 waves. Actually, probably more than that. Able to kill the first 6 or 7 waves back to base, even if it doesn't look like a good wave state or timing. Purchase a what's it called? Amplifying Tome and a Dark Seal, and then teleport back to lane and just stay there forever. The mana will always regenerate. You will always be able to use those echo cues to push the lane instantly. Now, I'm also going to be super hesitant as they spam ping no turret.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh my god.
What we need to see is Seraphine use her echo Q. I'm going to actually use my spectator to go down. Seraphine needs to use her echoed Q to kill all of the minions at the same time. Not kill all of them, but kill all of the casters and damage all the melees. The wave kind of broke up, so she's not going to be able to do it, and she used it on the melees. All right, so she isn't going to get the best push in the world, but she's still going to get a good push. The idea is to queue all 6 minions at the same time, and it instantly shoves the wave like so hard. But you also want to wait until they die so you get all the gold for free. But you know, it's only you only really see it from people who are degenerates like me and play nothing but ADC Seraphine. But we are going to see, like you said, the cleanse come out now. It is going to be a little bit safer for Seraphine. I am expecting an AP Seraphine with that summoner spell choice, but top lane, you're already seeing Yone has a ranged ability and Garen does not. It's going to be very hard for him to fight back in that lane. And like you said, Spellbook coming down in Talia, that shows me one thing and one thing only, that No Turt knows what he's doing. Spellbook is one of the more difficult summoner spells in the runes, excuse me, in the game to use, and I don't have a doubt in my mind that No Turt is able to handle having that rune exceptionally well. And now with this wave pushed into turret, Hambam doing a good job of making sure it doesn't crash onto the turret itself, freezing it there. But if I'm Seraphine, I'm sitting on 500 gold. I can back and get an Amp Tome, or I can back and get that Dark Seal and just walk back to lane before this next, not the wave that's there now, but the next wave gets there. And you can, you know, have a huge advantage. The amount of ground you can cover having an item lead in lane this early is enormous, and it's not taken advantage of very often in this elo, but it could be the difference in this game.
Well, differences definitely come individually for each of these teams. Now, if we go back and we kind of look at how the organization Cosmos Wings came together, bunch of friends, they always wanted to play competitively. They didn't want to split up. They weren't comfortable with playing with strangers, basically, so they came together, and they've had much success as the flash comes out from Pi Champion in that mid lane. And the same can be said over in the ranks of Titans here. And one person that does stand out for Titans is that catalyst of friendship. Mr. Shmee, I've been told, is probably one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. He makes everything tick. He makes sure that everybody is happy and content and doing what they do. So what we're dealing with here, other than competitive teams, we're dealing with a group of friends that really rate each other and try and excel their performances by playing numerous games together. And you can see that even with the addition of Mr. Shmee, it's really proven so different in that bot lane for GG No Rematch, because that chemistry doesn't just develop over one game, Jack. It develops over several.
Yeah, and it's something that has developed not only through years of friendship, but it's developed, you know, from being in this tournament for so long and playing so well together so constantly. And Ask is now in big trouble.
So Unbound took him back to the place he didn't want to be. He spent to win. First blood goes over to a Mumu with turnips there. And it just looked like Cosmos were a little bit quicker with that one. That Ignite coming in big from Elsa from Frozen. Doesn't get the kill, but that is something that is going to accelerate their lead this early on in the game. And that's a positive remark that they just did there. They matched the 2v2 and they came out on top.
The hype train is here, and they are here for Cosmo wins. Flash forward, Mr. Shmi, Mr. Nice Guy is in the mid lane, and the Epic Champion doesn't think he's all that nice. After that, Ignite goes down, but they aren't able to get enough damage down to do anything of importance. Mr. Shmi is just going to stay here and steal some experience, as Bard is one to do.
Just like the hype train means that train and Mr. Shmi is going to go up and down that river all day long. Now that he has Magical Journey in his inventory, you better believe that's something that's going to be taken advantage of. And what a surprise, Turnip's going to start up the first dragon of the game. 6 minutes in, looking to probably get that soul a little bit quicker if it is, but it's going to get spotted out by the Hawk shot from Ash, so they might see. Yeah, they made the roam. Look at Elsa from Frozen actually walk down from the top lane here, fully committing to try and get this. Weaver's Wall going to go out, split off the rest of the team there. How's the smite? Bandage toss goes across, but the smite's already good. Turnip's going to be the lead, and Lulu's going to pick up that one. Elsa from Frozen chasing down. GG no rematch, won a little bit more, should get the boost out, and of course that Cosmic Binding still available. There it goes, Mr. Shmi on the money. They get the dragon, but they give over a kill.
I mean, that was pretty well executed from the side of Titan Tots. Great idea from Cosmo Wings. Let's bring down Elsa. Let's try and force this dragon fight. But unfortunately, they already had it started. Turnips is so quick, and I mean, the reason I talk about it so much is because it keeps coming up. They push in that bottom lane all the way to the turret, and Seraphine backs and is able to get the tier, which is the item I should have said instead of amplifying to him earlier. You get that tier, that Dark Seal, you can do so much. They already were starting up the dragon, so they aren't able to get there in time, and in the end, they get 2 kills, which is important. But as we saw last game, it's not as important as it may seem on paper. Yon did get a turret plate up in top lane, is going to back with over 1,000 gold when he does elect to take that back. But it is a bit of a bigger lead than what we saw last game in terms of what those kills are going to give you, because now the Amumu is going to be a little bit accelerated, is going to be a bit tankier, more difficult to deal with, and also the bottom lane isn't as far behind in this early game. But Seraphine Bard is a hard bot lane to beat because they can just dash away and they can heal infinitely and shield infinitely. Seraphine can just back when she has no mana, come back to lane, kill the entire wave with one ability. So it's going to be difficult to put them behind.
Well, so far so good. Following the trends of early game last game, Cosmo certainly figured out the riddle that is to try and get ahead this early on in the game. See also from Frozen making the roam stay splash, waiting actually for Turnips. Knew he'd be there. Gonna hit him with the Banish Toss first. Flash is available. Curse's Sad Mummy goes out to stop him. Heartbreaker to get out of range. Great Bandage Toss to get back onto him. He cancels the Blast Cone, and they'll take it straight back onto the red buff, and it looks like they're going all out. They don't want to leave anything on the rift.
Bard wants this though, but the Magical Journey goes the other way, isn't able to pick it up. Banish Touch is going to be available with a sidestep from Mr. Shmi.
Happy feet.
Start walking away. Just getting out of there. And Seraphine, of course, doesn't matter that Seraphine's 1-on-2. She has an ability that can kill the entire wave in one hit, so it doesn't really matter. You can leave the Seraphine down. And it's Ash Lulu. They're never going to have kill pressure. So he's pretty safe down there to let Bard roam all across the map. The wave is going to crash and Seraphine's going to get solo experience and the whole wave's dead. So doesn't really matter. Going to be able to pick up the cannon. Hopefully, nope, does not get the cannon in the end. But Bard coming in, they're actually looking... Oh, Viego's here too.
That's a good flash coming out from Ham Bam. Time perfectly to get away from Spectrum. Oh, the Viego, but Turnips. He came down there. He got what he was coming for. At least the flash is going to be very good for that bot lane as Seraphine and Bard. And like Jack already mentioned, Seraphine going to get the solo experience, and Bard will collect that off his chimes as he roams around the map and tries to collect them as best he can. He's practically seen everywhere, and this suits the playstyle of Mr. Shmi. He likes to try and influence other lanes.
Yeah, and you did see on the minimap, if you were looking to splash, was topside, trying to influence that lane once again, but Ask sensed it, and he knew to stay back and stays away, is able to, you know, keep his hopes of winning the SCL finals alive, the championship on the line here, of course. And the bot side for Cosmos is kind of what I was looking at as its ultimate strength, as Amumu and Garen are kind of odd picks, obviously. But seeing that the bottom side of Cosmo Wings is starting to fall a little bit behind is not very encouraging here. No turret building up about a 10 CS lead, but gold-wise is sitting firmly about 300 gold ahead. That is, 300 gold early in the game is the difference between, having your boots and not having your boots. See, is completed boots and an amplifying tome versus completed boots and a tier and a oh no, that's actually not a purchased stopwatch. Never mind. He has not spent the extra gold yet. No, he's sitting on 1,200 gold. That's why. I'm like saying this, and I'm like, why am I sounding like such an idiot? But I'm realizing he hasn't spent his gold yet, so that's why. But
Well,
as you can see, Yon into the top side, the fighting is pretty even.
it is, and the goal lead, 1,200, give or take. 13, 1,200 is still in the favor of Cosmos actually here. And a lot of that is to do with this jungle matchup. You see Turnip's not getting paid as he's used to on this Viego. Very well matched actually from T-Splash, but T-Splash sitting on 150 gold shutdown. Probably don't want to accelerate anybody on the side of Titans because they've seen many a time that once they have that gold lead, they can certainly run with it and it becomes impossible to actually catch them. So early game, following the same trend, the same win condition that Cosmos have thought up here. Might be looking for something a little bit more is that dragon is now on the map. So players are certainly going to come around this and they don't really want to give this one over without trying to contest this.
Yeah, and I really want to see Seraphine. You have to do exactly that. Kill as much of the wave as possible. Get it to push in. Start heading towards this dragon. I mean, Ashe is going to have such a difficult time getting any sort of priority in this lane. Bard is waiting. This dragon's already been started. Amumu is getting slowed down, but Vantage Talk, not really what he wanted. He's put him in big trouble now.
Oh, Tempered Fate actually dodged. Curse Sam Mummy going to land though. Gets charmed off to the side by the Encore. That was only on one hand bam. Going to kill
Viego.
Turnips here. Mr. Smee goes through the magical journey. They will kill off the Amumu. A lot of damage coming out from the Talia on no turret. Actually, I believe that was a ghost that was used or just a flash. I mean, I seen a little bit of funny stuff going on. They ain't done just yet. Flash, Cosmic Binding, lands on two sides. Make sure I play champion in trouble here. He's gone up. Unleash power onto no turret. No turret certainly goes number. See Mr. Smee solo both of them on the back. The most friendliest guy. It's the most dangerous because the friend of my enemy is the friend of my friend of my friend. And Mr. Smee is that man.
The friendly neighborhood bard just throwing out those little guys. I don't even know what they're called. Chimes? Yeah, they're chimes. And they are going to pick up this dragon. After all that, Mr. Shmee is bloodthirsty. Gets 2 kills. He's sitting at 3-0-1 with those swiftness boots just affecting the whole map. And that fight does start pretty poorly for them. Turnips goes down really quickly because Amumu is pretty effective. Oh my god, what is happening? That Garrett is so fast. Phase rush Garen.
He gets
oh my god.
He gets the ultimate with Yone, but this is exactly what they want. They actually picked up the Herald, which is a very smart play because now it can get more gold into Elsa, and with Tay Splash up here as well, there's always that potential for the dive. No flash and no ultimate on the Yone, but no teleport. Means he's going to be very late to lane, and Garen getting paid.
Yeah, Garen's going to get a lot of money here, and he's going hopefully for that Gore Drinker. I would love to see a Ravenous Hydra come out as well, just trying to maximize the amount of 80 damage he can put out. I hope to not see that old Garen Mortal Reminder build. It's so garbage. I just don't want to see it. Bard is infinitely defending this red jungle as we see the Chemtech soul map affecting all of the little plants and such as Yon is hunting, but he's not going to win. Phase was back up. The thing's fast.
Yeah, he's, speaking of not gonna win, High Champion gets tagged double, Flash Forward Spectral Maw, and Channel Crystal Rattle lands, but not on the right target. Viego picks up the kill onto the Syndra in that mid lane. Not really seen Syndra this far behind, but 0-2. It's definitely not something you want to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to be that guy, and oh, never mind, I'll wait.
This is Mr. Smee 1v2, by the way. This guy's done this several times. He debates like the best of them. Turnip's going to help out the support right there. Wild Growth goes down, but is there enough to keep him alive? No. Encore goes down, sing a sad song of tears as GG No Rematch claims that kill.
What you're seeing right now is the Mr. Shmee difference, and it's not able to happen without my favorite pick, the Seraphine bot lane, coming out, because oh my god, I'm never gonna get this point
That's
across.
A magical journey, and what kind of journey is it? Okay, they're gonna get Cursed Sad Mummy on 3, Mr. Smee going low, but they'll kill the Lulu. T-Splash will surely follow here. GG No Rematch and Turnips gonna try and cut down the Mummy, and they do. They send the Valley of the Kings or not. You're gonna be preemptively put in. And I mean, it's very unfortunate. It just seems like that snowball is starting to turn even more for the side of Titans.
I mean, this is just domination, and it's only able to happen because of my favorite champion, Seraphine. The fact that they're able to leave this champion bot lane 1v2 for so long, Bard affects the rest of the map, gets the Viego back to a stable pace. Remember, Viego was really in a poor situation before those fights started going the other way. Died in the dragon fight, died topside once, I believe. So really started to fall behind, but Bard is able to stabilize the map, defend that red side jungle, and they are going to clear out some vision ahead of this next dragon 2 minutes away, so that vision will be reapplied pretty easily, and we are seeing excellent... Oh, never mind.
Channel Cristobaro on the money. Stasis caught by no turret, but that's it. Okay, Elsa, he's dead. Demacian Justice coming down, and Cosmos trying to send a message with that one. They're still behind in the goal, but they pick off the mid laner.
That is exactly the execution we need to see out of Cosmos. See target, kill target. That's all they have to do. Land the arrow. That means the bandage toss lands. That means Garen gets to put out 100% of his damage. That's all they need to do. It looks a lot easier than it actually is because obviously everyone's a moving target and everyone is going to be able to maneuver around those arrows, and hopefully they'll have vision to spot out the Ashe when she throws them out. But it's not as easy as it looks to fully, you know, you have to fully commit everything. And sometimes it sounds funny, but sometimes playing League, it's hard to fully commit all of your resources to do something.
Venom's on the front line. Encore goes through, actually tags up too. Spin the win goes Garen, but they are going to trade evenly. The one a little bit more. Epic Champion going to stuck in the middle of it. Demacian Justice not going to go down from the Viego, I believe it was. He took the body. No, it was Elsa. Actually, delayed animation right there. They're going to collapse back on the T-Splash, running for the hills, running under the turret. Spectrum Wall going to seal them up right there. 4 strong in the top lane. The Hot-Tempered Fate is measured perfectly from Mr. Shmee, and they get the dive. They get the kill.
Uh-oh. Turnips enchanted Crystal out under the turret, but it might have just baited Elsa into his death. Nope,
Oh,
Turnips is dead.
Okay, that
shut
turret,
down.
MVP,
Oh, and
GG, no rematch, MVP, okay. That turret doing work, but no turret puts icing on the cake.
And, I mean, Mr. Shmee, meanwhile, is just proxying the wave. I mean, they're admitting it themselves in all chat. We are so troll comes out for Turnips, but everyone is picking this dragon. They all know what's up next. 3 mystics completed in favor of 2 mystics for the side of Cosmos. Although I will say only 2 mystics completed, but Amumu does have 2 completed tank items. So Talia is not going to do much damage in this fight to Amumu, and Amumu is going to do a lot of damage himself with that Sunfire Cape. But I mean, you don't really want your carry or your focal point to be the Amumu. You want it to be your Ashe, your Syndra, who's horribly far behind. You want it to be your Garen, who actually can do a good amount of damage with the Stride Breaker. But Rift Herald goes down. I don't even know if it crashes on turret, as Turnips is going to get caught out a little bit in the river here. Second bandage Josh comes out, but he has the Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker, get out. Still
Yone's down in the bot lane.
Enchanted Cristobaro, oh, on the money again. Ashe landing everything. Handbam, Temper Fate goes down. Gold secure up, Tay splashes. The rest of the team look to collapse here. Encore goes through, only on 1. He's silenced. Ashe can't get a soul on bound. That's on the wrong side. He might fall here. 10% gets the shield through. He will die. Syndra picks that one up. Cosmos putting up a fight here. Mr. Smee trying to run. Can't get away with that one. They pick up 2, and now they'll start to rotate to that dragon.
They were a little bit out of position. Yone was so far down the bottom lane when they committed to that fight. It forced him to go up. Venom's is going to die here, though. That's a lot of damage. He does get away with the flash. But now they're out of position again. They're 4v2 right now.
Weaver's Wall goes out. There goes the Threaded Volley. There goes no turret. There goes Ham Bam. They get the AD carry. Flash forward. Threaded Volley on Venom. 1 shot away from dying here. They're on the wrong side of the map if they want to get out. Also from Frozen, Phase Rush is going to be Pro. Scarlet going to go down on 2. No unleashed power available, but the teleport's going to come in. A Pie champion running for his life. Might have traded over. Venom's denying their inevitability. If he can get the execute, okay, it's kind of worth that guess, but they still pick up everything.
They just don't know when to cut their losses. This is the desperation. I don't think we've truly seen them act really tilted or desperate, even in their 2 losses, but that was it. I don't even think they mentally like knew that they were being desperate, but staying when you already get those 2 kills under the turret, you can just leave and get the dragon and run away. But they stay for so long. The respawns come out, the teleport comes out for Ask, he respawns after dying, and they're able to pick up some off the back end, and that results in them being down a little over 1k gold. Flash has to be used from Ham Bam. I mean, they're picking up some advantages, but
don't pass that way. Turnips waiting. Fate Seal gonna go through. Ham Bam dies anyway. Even with that flash, slow and bound, gonna get procced back. Turnips left alone inside the wolf pit. Will he be able to get out? Yes, he does. Very clean with the Heartbreaker. Sideways shove, gonna push back the Garen. His magical journey is gonna be procced by Mr. Smee. Cosmic Binding goes wayward. Scar the Week gonna land onto the Bard. He's gonna chime himself out. This one gets silenced. It's gone forward. Elsa from Frozen. Let it go. Let this go. And let it be known that 2 kills will go over to the carrying captain of Cosmos as they put up a fight.
Adina Menzel would be proud of the performance put up by Elsa from Frozen, doing so much in these fights. He did go for the crappy Mortal Reminder build, but it doesn't matter. He's able to put down enough, be fast enough with that phase rush to take down 2 members before going down himself. But the problem still arises. We have a fully stacked tier on the Seraphine and a fully stacked tier on the Talia. Once they get their items, they're going to be so effective in this game.
Hey Jack, are you seeing this old chap?
I mean, Turnips is just asking them trivial questions. He asked them, so do y'all like food? He just wants to have some fun. I mean, it is a high-pressure scenario, the finals of a major tournament, a major amateur tournament that's been running for the past, I mean, since November, I think, right? It was before, this is before Thanksgiving. But these guys, these Titan Tots, I mean, Optimal Esports had a very laid-back personality to them, but I think it's even doubled by Titan Tots. They're just flexing all over, and it seems like they don't even care. They don't even realize that they're so far ahead. They're just trolling around, but they're so well they're so well coordinated with one another. The communication is so on point that they're able to just make these plays out of nowhere, and the Enchanted Crystal Air comes down. That is almost certainly going to be a dead Mr. Shmee.
Oh, Mr. Shmee takes a very short journey across the wall with Taste Splash hovering in the back. He's going to make an attempt on something. Seismic Shove is going to come out. Encore actually goes wayward, doesn't land. Temper Fate going to follow that as well. 2 ultimates down on the side of Titans. Means Taste Splash going to go ahead. Cleanse has to come out from GG No Rematch. Now it's coming into fruition. Oh, the face shield is massive! Asking the questions. Can you survive this? And the answer is no. Turnip still looking in the middle of nowhere right now. Yeah, that Viego's going forward relentlessly. Aggression. Captain. Titans Tots going Colossus again. The Pie Champion gets cut down on the retreat of that team fight.
Aaliyah wall is so clutch. It completely cuts off the carries from the 2 frontliners. Amumu and Garen get locked up by that Yone ult, even though they used the Bard ultimate and the Seraphine ultimate for nothing. The Talia ult is so good. We talked about it early game, but we kind of left the point. No Turret is so good at this champion and just completely bodies that team fight, and the damage that gets put down. I mean, they are so far ahead. Seraphine is just living the dream, just supporting her allies, doesn't have to worry about doing anything, just constantly spewing out those abilities. And Bard is so far ahead in this game, he's able to go for the super expensive Radiant Virtue and give his allies that boost when he ults. Not the best on Bard because he doesn't ult. His ult isn't really like a frequently used like ability near his teammates per se. But now we see the Medjais come out for the Seraphine. If you're good at this champion, you should never die, because you should never be in range to die to anyone. You don't need to be in range to shield them or to throw out your Qs. You never need to auto because your notes give you so much attack range. It doesn't matter. So we're seeing these completed items come through now. Archangel's Staff. Talia is going to have so much ability haste. This is pre-Archangel's adjustment. Goes wide on the ultimate, and now they're still looking for the fight, though. They're still posturing. Dragon up in 2 seconds. They're going to have to look for this fight, but Ask is in the bottom lane. They're completely pincered right now.
You need to be very careful how they approach this one. Ask doing the split push and duty again. Very good at it too. The Alawi last game showed very good results. following that trend. Epi champion, Pie champion, whatever you want to call him. Okay, Encore going to land on to Mr. Smee on the wrong side of the fight. Is Elsa from Frozen, has to run away. Will regenerate. That's a Garen. Remember, Garen. Gonna feel good about that. Taste Splash goes forward, but no follow-up right there. Turnips gets a Heartbreaker out to try and get out of dodge. Dodge is out for there. Ham Bam going a little bit ham. Clues in the name. Ultimately, nobody going to fall here. And, Weaver's Wall going to come out to try and cut off Ham Bam, but the team is not going to follow that up. The vision is certainly going to be with Cosmos Wings as they look to try and negate anything that will come from that Dragon take, but they're on the wrong side of the map here. They're giving up their base.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to zone off. That was what that ultimate was for. They're going to go back in now. So much damage coming out.
Procs phase rush. Turnip's gone low here. Could fall. He is exactly going to do that. Takes place because that one asked 1v9 right now, but the Garen secures the kill onto Yoni. They save that middle inhibitor turret, and that's the main thing. GG no rematch. Going to flash away. Oh, side break shoved back. Elsa from Frozen gets a threaded volley to the throat. And again, no turret showing excellence on this champion. That's actually a teleport behind. Mr. Smee, what are you doing over there?
I mean, he's magically journeying his way across Summoner's Rift. He doesn't care. Ham Bam is in a very bad spot right now. The Shirelia's Reverie gets popped.
Oh,
does absolutely nothing.
They're so low right now. Oh my god. He's flashing Mr. Smee on the room. He's trying to get the kill himself. Whoa, he blast cones the Pie champion overall. Mr. Smee is doing illegal things on the rift.
Oh my god, from the top rope comes Mr. Smee, throws him over. Like, here's the reference chat's been wanting for, like, Shelton Benjamin falling off that ladder at WrestleMania. Just wallops him across the map. I mean, incredible. Bard is just the carry.
It's unbelievable the amount of micro things this man can do. And they're going to secure the dragon on the back of that crazy skirmish.
Sole point to protect their 2-0 lead and turn that into a SCL championship. One of the most impressive amateur tournaments that I've seen run. One of the most impressive tournament runs.
Yeah, baby, let's hype it up. SCL, baby, where are we in that chat?
I mean, this is unbelievable. The Titan Tots, I mean, they were 1-3 in their division at one point. No one thought they had a chance. They had to win and get in game, and that was it. And we thought maybe they'd win. We actually gave the other team better odds. They had a really tough match against AO. There were a lot of substitutes used. Obviously, it was a little bit contentious. But at the end of the day, when the substitutes weren't playing, when it was the full team of AO, they still lost. And you can say momentum this, momentum that. You've just got to have a good mental, and they didn't have that. And Titan Tots was able to just rally through that. And now they're here. And in the finals, they're just demolishing these guys, but No Turret isn't a pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh!
There's actually a teleport to help out No Turret here. It's going to come from the Yoni. Damascene Justice goes down, going to shut down the mid laner, but okay, yes, gets a face shield on it too. Elsa from Frozen, watching T-Splash go golden. And that's going to go forward again. Still 1v9 status. Unleashed power going to go down, and that's two fights on two fronts, and both of the top laners going to reap no rewards of that skirmish. Still want a little bit more. Turnips has a Garen skin right now. Mr. Smee going on the front line. Encore going to land on the most important person. That's going to be the Syndra. She gets cut down by Turnips. Turnips still going. Going to get the double kill. I believe, yeah, T-Splash going to get in action too, but he's going to fall. That's a triple over to the captain of Titans.
Yeah, you have to have complete confidence during that fight to win it. You need to just let the Seraphine do all the shielding, all the healing, let Bard just lay down those Qs, do as much, just be as annoying as possible, and just confidently go through that fight. He has the Death's Dance, so he knows he can sustain through those fights, and he's able to pick up all three of those kills, and I mean, just really, really clean execution here. The Mikhail's Crucible, or is that Mikhail's Crucible? Yeah, Mikhail's Blessing, excuse me, they changed the name. Mikhail's Blessing coming through on Bard. He knows his job. Just make sure Viego, Yone, No Turret don't get CC'd and killed immediately. Keep them alive. Baron spawning right now, and they're just now respawning. Amumu is not going to be able to get there in time.
Well, they don't do this. The fastest Baron in the world, but let alone look who can challenge them. 8,000. is on that Baron Hawkshot. Gonna find out that that's exactly what's gonna go down here. Weaver's Wall already used to try and delay it. Temper Fade gonna go out, but I also propose it going in for the charm. Okay, the steal actually gets charmed up instead. T-Splash gonna go in, but not followed up by the rest of the team. His ass goes 1v9 status again. Finn's gonna be popped by GG, no rematch. The other two are over the field of the wall, and they are still doing damage. The resets are happening. Oh my good god, it's set up for turnip. 2 resets on the Heartbreaker. Double kill for the jungler, the captain. The fearless leader, still wanting more. Venoms gets triple killed. They're still looking. Penta on the cards. Mr. Smee, can he set it up here? Hambam is in range. Oh, Mr. Smee doesn't set it up for his jungler, but he set his team up for succession.
And after all that, they had to win to get in. They were 2-2 in their division. They had to go up against the best of the best SCL had to offer. Optimal Esports, the juggernaut who everyone thought would win. They took them down in a sweep, and now they are the SCL champions.
Titans, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, they spoke about myths of Titans taking refuge in Mount Olympus. You're not seeing that today, but what we will speak about is how Titans tore away from Cosmos Wings. They're your SCL Season 1 champions.
Unbelievable. Titan Tots explode on the rift, much like a pipe bomb would. And just these players, they've been so vocal, they've been so fun to watch, and they have been so good playing the game. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff from them.
What can you say other than, yeah, ugly ass logo, gotta put it in the archives of the SCL. Maybe it'll be reworked. I mean, the one thing that you can say is they thoroughly deserved it. It was just breathtaking. They 3-0'd Optimal. They 3-0'd Cosmos. Is there a team that can actually go toe-to-toe with Titans? Not this season, Jack.
Nope, and forever and always, Titan Tots will be remembered as the Season 1 SCL champions. They will be memorialized on our Discord, which you should join if you haven't already. And just excellent play, excellent execution, excellent mental. I do want to give great props to Cosmo Wings. They made it all the way here, didn't lose a single series until they got here, which is extremely impressive in this competitive league. So do give kudos to them. But for now, the championship will always be Titan Tots.
Speaking of Titan Tots, I'm going to cut to a small break, but when we come back, interview from the champions and winning team, Titans, right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, what's better than interviewing an individual? It's interviewing a whole damn team. We got the whole squad in here, the championship squad. Guys, welcome. I know emotions are pretty pretty high, but we are going to start with Turnips, the captain, fearless leader.
So
Amongst all the memes and everything that's been going around, I mean, dude, we were looking at the all chat through that whole game, asking people if they like food. I mean, that's one way to start a conversation, especially when you get role playing NPCs. Of course, I'm saying this very lightly. We definitely appreciate Cosmos for all the excitement that they brought SCL this season. But Turnips, I want to just ask you,
yeah,
how does it feel now? I know that I spoke to you prior to the stream today, and you
yeah.
told me you guys, without any polishing around, you guys just like to go to the Rift and then shit on some kids. Uh, how does that feel that even though you said that, you guys basically 6-0 the semifinals and the final?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, I don't even think we're that good. Everyone else is just trash. So
True, true.
yeah, I don't even think we play particularly well. They just suck at drafting. They suck at mechanics, and like, I mean, I'm Asian, so
Macro.
I have that edge. So yeah, I mean,
Korean?
This is raw and
No,
uncut,
he's the
ladies and
worst
gentlemen. Raw
Asian.
and
He's the
uncut.
worst Asian.
well, I'm
Tell him what you are, Jay.
half Viet, half Chinese.
He's Viet.
Yeah, I will say that AO was definitely the hardest team we've had. Granted that we had two E subs and off roll mid,
Because they
but
had Queen on their team, bro.
yeah, true. Queen was definitely the star-studded person that made us go to 5 games. So yeah,
I
know
do
LT
want
is gonna like that.
I do want to ask you guys about your journey this season. At one point, you were 1-3 in your division, and now you're the champions. Talk about, was there any sort of mentality shift, or did you just feel like you kind of just started to click for you guys?
Triton, you
dude.
take that one.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Whoever
Yeah,
wants to answer.
my team's full of dirty fucking inters that don't know how to play macro, and they don't know how to expand their champion pools, and that's all right because we work around it by kicking our top laner and then putting him in the mid lane later on, and moving our mid laner at the top lane, and then letting me sit for a while, and then trying a bunch of different people until eventually it clicks because it's just like a puzzle. You just throw it at the wall until something sticks.
Right.
I mean, something did stick in that game, Jack, and win conditions really it bodes well for you guys right across the board. But I want to come and ask in that top lane because a lot of eyes were on that top lane. Also from Frozen, got to be a respectable opponent, right? I know you guys are joshing around here a little bit, but performance individually, I mean, there was a couple of solo kills that went one way and then it went the other. But ultimately, you're asked to just do a role and you do it very well for the rest of your team. How do you find that responsibility? Because ultimately, is there even a responsibility for you to even do anything when the rest of your team are playing this well?
Well, well, to be honest, like, I'm a boomer, as they tell me, so I just do my role essentially. And like, I think it was at one point Jack mentioned during the stream was like, it felt like solo queue top lane, which it did felt like it, and I just was turning my head off. And then I just figured, I know my place on the team. Just don't int, don't die. Just play what I play, and there we are.
I have to answer Jack. I can't hold it in anymore, dude. You cannot say that this top laner is a good player, bro. His fucking champ pool fucking sucks.
And also,
He played
don't let
Seth
ads.
and Garen with Ignite and Phase Rush. Are you guys out of your fucking mind? Guys are
Don't let
fucking
Slay-
NPC,
Don't
bro.
let Slay undersell himself. Don't let
Oh
Slay
my god!
undersell
And Slay,
himself.
how
We
the fuck are you listening to the stream while we're playing? How
Dude,
the hell did you know he said that?
The hardest part about it is like Slay's job is literally just
Can't.
survive and then team fight with us.
Listen, we have
My
the white
God.
Zeus on our team, okay? We have white Zeus playing Yone in the top lane.
I mean,
How can we lose?
This is something, ladies and gentlemen. Even though they won convincingly, these guys are still beefing. You could have done this better. You could have done that better. That's how important it is for these guys to win and win comfortably. And I mean, we're really enjoying it. Jack, I know you got a question for GG No Rematch, who just had his say, but I want to get your feelings on that one.
I gotta say, GG, I know you pulled out the Seraphine ADC just for me. I know you know that I main it. I want to ask you, why did you not queue all 6 minions on that very first wave to kill all of them and get the push right away?
Because
boomer.
He's bad.
He's 30-year-old boomer, that's why.
Yeah,
You caught
I
me off
agree.
guard with that one, buddy. I'm not gonna lie. Oh no, dude, you cannot do that. That's like fucking impossible. With their
You do
with
it every
them
game.
starting, what you can't,
Their
dude.
bot lane's
Because
just gonna run you down level 1. No,
Yeah,
they just
we
ghost
have
to-
can't play.
we have to
I mean,
fist fight early. So like, I just used it to just
Just
get
trade,
a
right?
minimal amount
Yeah.
of prio and try to trade when I can because I knew
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
could step up. Because Bard walked up, Bard started W, and because Bard starts W, I can't just let them shove the wave and get prio. We want a priority first and immediately.
That's
Yeah.
why you queue all 6 minions. But you only keep
Yeah.
3.
To kill it. Dude, I wanted to guarantee. I played so bad the previous
I think
game
you're
that I just
bad,
wanted to
GG.
guarantee.
Jack's right. You're just dog shit.
I just wanted to guarantee. I just wanted to guarantee that the laning phase was going to go well. Like it
Well,
was
you
a
did
simple,
extremely
easy
well.
game.
You did
I mean,
extremely well in
honestly,
the team fight.
Seraphine is my best champion. Like we're like as a team, we're like as a team 20-1 with Seraphine. Like we've won 2 or 3 we've won 2 championships with me literally playing Seraphine. That's why like this game was like the perfect opportunity because this jungler that they had literally had the saddest champion pool ever. Fucking Pixamumu with his last pick like a
You
like a
can't
bot?
say-
Say it.
You
Don't say
banned 7. There were 7 junglers banned.
yeah, but
And
learn
you
how to
picked-
draft,
yeah.
dude.
They
Learn how to
could've
draft.
They could have
like
picked
hello.
Zac every game. They could have picked
Yeah.
Zac every game.
They
in
only
the
banned
first
Zac.
3 of them.
Five.
Maokai was unbanned.
You could have took Wukong. They banned 2 junglers too. Let's not act like they weren't banning banning champions that we play. They just have literally 0 draft sense because they fucking take Garen, Set. Like, are you
They
serious? How are you gonna take Set there, dude? I was screaming out loud and crying inside every single time they picked champions. It was amazing. They took Syndra from us. Hilarious.
I
like-
laughed.
When this
Let's-
game was over, the minute they locked in a Momo,
Yeah.
honestly.
Let's bring it back a little bit because even though like all the excitement and everything is Cosmos, they still made it to the finals, right? They still made it
Yeah.
somewhat
Because they were on the tough side.
interesting, right?
They had the soft side of the bracket, buddy.
Well, let's take it from there. All right, we want to move to Mr. Shmee, and now I know that a lot of people have been a big fan of Mr. Shmee this season. Support role has definitely been a staple for you and for the champions that you've brought there. You really can't be banned out because it doesn't matter what support champion that you put on, you still outperform majorly. So I want to ask, GG no rematch to me. He's a very interesting guy. I mean, he's very outspoken, and I mean, I spoke to Turnips, and he had some things to say. I won't say too much. I ain't a snitch, baby.
Just say it. Say it.
GG
Say it,
is,
say it,
is a-
say it, say it, say it.
Say it.
look. Basically, there was a question of ego. I mean, but the thing with that is, if you have an ego, make it count and make sure that you are winning those games. And he did that, so he earns every right to be like that. But I want to ask Mr. Shmee, how is it playing with somebody of that character?
Well, when you have 3 people that have massive egos, you just kind of like sit back and you just play what you want. And then when your ADC runs it down, you just say, fuck you, I'm going elsewhere.
I mean, it's short and sweet. But guys, congratulations. It's a pleasure to cast your game as always. Me and Jack thoroughly enjoyed it. And I know for everybody out there who tuned in tonight, they definitely enjoyed it. Now, I want to give you primarily one by one just to say your piece. Keep it reasonable. I know you guys have got a lot to say about Cosmos. But what does this kind of spell for going forward for you guys, for the Titan organization? Are we going to see you next season? I haven't really dialed into what's going to happen, but you guys can talk amongst yourselves. The platform is yours to say what you need to say to the community right now.
Turnips is a dirty fucking inter number 1. That's the first thing. So
I 1v9 every game.
no, you're the number
I-
1 inter on our team.
gonna-
That's number
I'm not
1.
gonna- I'm not gonna
Number
yell.
2,
I'm not
our
gonna yell.
bot lane is severely dysfunctional and they hate each other, except when they meet each other IRL. Then they're like two peas in a pod. Our top laner, maybe a 30-year-old boomer white Zeus, and then I'm a retard. Well, I can't say that. I'm a traitor.
Whoa.
I'm a traitor mid lane.
Sorry.
This team is dysfunctional and will not be returning in the second season.
Unfortunately, I think we will not be returning. But I want to give it like a little shout out. Thank you for all production, for everything. Thank you casters, and thank you all for all the fans for making this happen. And it was a great season for SCL, and hope we can make it grow bigger. So I think that's
Yeah,
it for time next Tots. So
Congratulations, and I mean, it'll be sad to see you guys go, but you definitely give us a hell of a season. Entertain to the masses, and it's
One
one
more
of those things. Yeah, go right ahead, man.
Easiest championship win and money I've ever made in my life.
I love
Super
it. I love
free.
it.
Okay, so is that
Thank
how it's
you.
supposed to get carried, GG?
Oh yeah, thank you, baby. I love you. Money kisses to you. You played amazing the past Two
All right.
series.
Let them wrap it up, boys. I think
I got
they're-
one last shout out.
Hit
Alright,
it.
Shout
no
out
problem.
to my mommy, the queen. She gave me the confidence
Oh,
and
God.
the motivation to do all of this. And my daddy McNutt, he gave me a lot of confidence as well.
Oh, that's my
Thank you.
boy right there. Okay, I respect that. Okay, yeah, we're getting cut the mic and everything now. Okay, before it kind of goes into that, we're gonna let these guys go enjoy their moment because they've definitely earned it. But stay tuned. Right after this is gonna be a really short break, and then we're gonna spin the wheel, baby. It's a giveaway right after this to wrap up the end of the SCL season. All right, so we're back, and we're actually joined by Zorro, partial CEO to the SCL, who we can attribute a lot of the improvements that have happened around here. So, Zorro, thank you very much for your input this season. We've definitely noticed a big change, but I do believe you've got a giveaway to go with.
Yes, sir. That's correct. First off, I'd like to give a special shout out to the SCL community. You guys been great. Another shout out to Cosmo Wings. You guys, I know it wasn't the result you guys expected, but nonetheless, to make it to the finals in the first season, that's great. And last but not least, shout out to Titan X Tots. You guys are beasts. But anyways, let's spin the wheel and see who gets this free skin.
All right, Tony, show us who's it gonna be? Whose luck is turning? Oh, Lamb, close. Oh my God! Who's that? LT, yo, my boy LT.
in
He
chat.
called it. He called it earlier. The winner of your 1350 RP giveaway is LT. That is rigged beyond belief.
That's what happens when you lose in semifinals, Tim. You don't get your skin.
Oh, Tim is gonna feel bad about that. Right on the edge, right there. So, I mean, congratulations, LT, my boy. I mean, that might impress Doc Queen. You never know. Going forward, Seth, do you want to say anything else to the community before we wrap this up for the first season here?
Yeah, last thing I'd like to say is I'd like to give a special shout out to this team. Big Bessie, aka Tony, aka Seth. He's been holding down the production all year long. We got Alam holding down the casting, and we got guys like Jack Kelly, DBZ Freak, Mia with the graphics, Skylar, my boy, LT doing the stats. We got a bunch of people. We got a great team, and I'd just like to give a special shout out to everyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
shout
Lam, if
outs. Oh,
if
go
you
ahead, Jack. Yeah.
don't mind, I just want to thank, it's been a very interesting season, we'll say, but I want to thank SCL. This is my first, I cast a international Spanish tournament, and then I casted some tryouts, and SCL gave me a shot. I was able to cast many series this year. I want to thank all of the fans in chat who have been so incredibly supportive, even with some joking support, still being so kind. And I want to thank everyone at SCL from the beginning to now for giving me this opportunity. And I want to thank Lam a million times for being such a great mentor and helping me through this process.
You're very welcome, man. And I have to reiterate what both of the guys have said here. Zorro, Skylar, Flappy even standing in, Big Bessie, Tony, our production head producer here, Michiko for the amazing graphics and overlays that we have come to be in control of now, and especially for season 2 coming up. I know that Tony and Mia have been going very hard to get everything prepared as we approach that monumental thing that we got through a season, and it's been improvement after improvement. LT, of course, the moderation, we love that. The newly appointed staff members as well. We definitely thanks everybody for their organization and their help. But we have to wrap it up because ultimately we can't sit here and name people off over and over again. So from me, Lam, from Jack, from Sath, Zorro, and from our producer, Tony, tonight, of course, congratulations go over to Titans, but we're going to bid you a farewell. God bless, and we will see you next time the SCL rolls around.